Hi, Elam, how are you?
Hello, how are you? Very well, thank you.
Good, good, good. I had a few technical issues, Elam, so it's been a challenging last few minutes to say the least, but we're all prepared, ready to go.
That's all right. That's normal. Things never
Yeah.
go according to plan.
Exactly. Jermaine, how are you, sir?
I'm okay. How are you?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you.
Good, good.
Remind me of your company again?
I'm from Sydenham Garden.
Sydenham Garden. Oh, right, okay. Sydenham Garden.
Garden, yeah.
Right, okay. And what type of work do you do?
So we're a mental health charity, and so we support people with their mental health mainly through group activity.
Okay.
So horticultural therapy, mainly gardening and arts and crafts. Yeah.
Sounds very therapeutic. Very therapeutic. That's easy for me to say.
Yeah. It's nice when the weather's nice.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, keep in touch, Jermaine. We're having an event on the 30th of September, which I'm going to talk about during the conference. And it's an event day where we get in all the local organisations under one roof to support different sectors and different industries, and it's a good opportunity to promote your business to the community.
Okay.
So I'm going to explain all that in the meeting, a little bit more about what we do.
I'm just going to grab myself a drink. I'll be back.
So did you have a nice holiday, Elam?
It was. I just unmute myself. Yeah, it was very nice. You know, to be honest with migrant leaders, my charity, the last 3 years, most holidays have meant also plenty of work. That's what purpose does for you.
I know. I think it was only the last holiday out of the last 20 I've had that I didn't take my laptop. I wasn't allowed to this time. So,
I totally get that.
So, and I think holidays are a good time to do a bit of work, but yeah.
Yeah, especially if I can tell you like which development programs and which documents and which leaflets and what systems I developed on holidays, because I find that developing stuff and creating things is really good on holiday, and then
Yes.
running operations and processes is good for normal times.
I think it's the best time. It's the best time to get work done, actually. But we have a debate about that one. Lillian, how are you? You're on mute, love.
Hiya, all.
Hi, Lillian, how are you?
I'm really well, thanks. Nice to see you.
Nice to see
Another
you too.
familiar faces. Hi, Sue. Hi, Nigel. Hi, Jane. BSB's iPad and Elam. Got it right.
Hi, Susan. How
You
are
have, hello.
Yeah. A few more people coming in, aren't they?
Hi, all.
Yeah. Hello. Hi, Nigel. So we're going to, hi Jane, how are you?
Hi, very well.
Good, good, good. Nigel, nice to see you, sir. I'm gonna give it another 5 minutes, and then we're going to start. we've had a few technical issues, as we do. So I'm at the controls tonight. My sidekick has got issues, so I'm logging everybody in and running the meeting. So if I'm moving my head, I'm not dancing. I'm just trying to organize bits and pieces. So we'll give it a few more minutes and then we'll start.
Hello, nice to meet everyone.
Hi. Lillian? Lillian?
Yeah, hi.
Hi. Can you just tell everybody what you do and the work that you do in the community while we're waiting for a couple of minutes?
All right. Well, I'll say hello to everyone. Hi, all. I'm going to sort of, I think I've been put on the spot, but I'm quite used to Maurice's lovely approach, but it's great. So I've used to work at Voluntary Action Lewisham, the Council for Voluntary Services that operated in Lewisham for the past 52 years. Are you sitting down? And they've now closed, and I've just set up as a freelance consultant locally, simply because I actually, as my strapline says, I love Lewisham, so I'm very committed to Lewisham. So it's really good to be here and kind of partnering up with a range of organisations to just continue to provide much of what I was doing before. Oh, got lovely little people in the background.
Can everybody just mute their mics, please?
You can do that as the host, you know, Maurice.
Oh, yes, that's right, yes.
You can actually mute us all.
Okay. Thank you again, everyone. I'm going to start in 1 minute time. 1 minute, I'm going to start. I just keep repeating myself that I'm at the helm today, so I'm in the aeroplane, but it's just me driving.
Oh, wow.
So my sidekick is not available. So I'm trying to handle all the technical stuff. But thank you all for coming. It's appreciated. And I'm just waiting for one more speaker and then I'll start the ball rolling. Nigel Kipax, Mr. Kipax.
Maurice, good evening.
Nigel's one of my mentors and helps me to build programs, part of Stephen Lawrence Trust. Can you just give us a minute of your time, Nigel, the work that you do within the community and the trust?
Well, there we go. I thought Lillian was the only one that got put on the spot.
It's catching.
Yeah. I've known you. I've known you a year, Maurice. I ought to know this is coming. No, very briefly. Apart from being chair of trustees of a disability charity, I've been working with Maurice and Lillian and quite a few others, through the Stephen Lawrence Trust for the last 12 months. So supporting the whole BAME community leaders and business leaders in Lewisham, coaching, mentoring, business development, governance. So a number of things we're doing, and to be honest, really enjoying it. I think there's some really inspirational stories that are coming out over the last 12 months. So it's been great to be part of it, Maurice, and you're one of them, mate.
Brilliant. Thank you, Nigel, for bigging me up there. Brilliant. Thank you very much, all. So I am going to start. I'm going to give it another 30 seconds to start, and we will get the ball rolling. Thank you all again for coming. My name's Maurice Thor. You're going to hear my name a lot tonight. I'm the CEO of Collab Training Academy, C.I.C, and I'm hosting today. And I will be going through all the programs, what we've got planned in the future, all the organizations that we are working with. It's about the reason my company is called Collab, you'll hear this again later, is because I like to work in collaboration within the community and trying to support the different areas of disadvantage, people with barriers and people who need support. So that's what I live for, and that's what my company's about, and that's what this event's about. And you're going to hear more now because I'm going to start the meeting. Officially going to start the meeting, and I'm going to introduce people into the room as we go. So once again, my name is Maurice Thor, founder and CEO of Collab Training Academy. welcome to the second part of a three-part trilogy. We had the first event in May, and we discussed the issues of COVID-19, the impact of youth, and also the impact of the parents, impact of the children. But what we wanted to do is something collectively where we can actually have some impact and give them something tangible, some type of resource, some kind of support, some kind of advice, training programs. Just to go through the due diligence, that's easy for me to say. We are recording this for Facebook, on Facebook, and also we will be using this for social media going forward. So we'll be using quotes and pictures as well. I'd like to go through the thank yous first of all, and thank the team. First of all, I'd like to thank Elam from Migrant Leaders, who has supported this program with great support, and I'm really excited to have her on board as a partner and, well, as an associate, sorry, not a partner, an associate, and I look forward to hearing from Elam later on today. I love her project and the work that she's doing. Also, obviously, the wife puts up with me, Beatrix, Sam, Brunilda, the team, thank you very much for your patience. And also the organisations, Youth First, we are partnering with, Rushy Green Time Bank, David, Michael, Evadne Bygrave, Susan Ryder, Nigel Kipax, the BME Sterling Group. All these organisations have helped me to put this programme on, but it's a bigger picture going forward. So I'd just like to thank all those organisations. What we wanted to do today is touch a lot of areas with a lot of sectors within the community, but we've had to slim it down because of the time frame that we've got. But hopefully going forward, we'll be able to add more sectors and more opportunities. As we go through the presentation, can I ask everybody to mute their microphones for me? And also all the speakers today, if you're speaking today, can I ask you to prepare your slides for me? With technical issues, I haven't got your slides. So please prepare your slides for me. I'll just go quickly through the conference layout on what we're going through today. Let's have a look. And just go through the lineup. I can share that with you. Oh, can you see that, everybody? Or okay, so the conference lineup today. So we're going to hear from the sponsor, and then first up is Ethel. Ethel, could you prepare your presentation for me? We're going to hear from, we're going to hear from the youth first and talk about the issues and challenges within Lewisham. I know Joel Dunn can't make it tonight. He's had an emergency at the hospital, so we'll be missing Joel, and we'll be hearing a lot more from Danielle. And then we're going to do something interactive, a little bit of an interactive, bit of fun in there, bit of an interaction. Then we're going to talk to the speakers who've got products and programs that can support the community. So we're going to hear from the, oh my, somebody's hacked into the conference. Oh no. Let me take that down. I'll have to stop sharing that. So we've got somebody who's hacked into the conference and causing me problems as well.
Morris?
Yes.
Does anyone have a list of the participants? Because if you do, you'd be able to just go through and remove the person that's not supposed to be here. But
Right.
if it's you, it might be a bit tricky, so.
Can you have a look at that, Beatrix, for me, to see if you can find the person? But we'll crack on. Well, I can see we're going to have fun tonight. There's an upside and a downside. There's always people challenging. So this should be really exciting. I'm going to start with our first speaker from Baseline and Lewisham. I know they've done some fantastic work with the youth over the years, a well-respected company. So I'm going to ask Ethel Ponter from Baseline to start. Ethel, are you there?
I'm here.
Hi. Hi, sorry, I didn't see you there. Hi, Ethel, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Hi, everyone.
Thank you for saving me. No technical issues.
Yeah, I'm not going to use any presentation. I'll just speak.
Okay, no problem.
It's safe, but people can contact me afterwards. I'll give my email address. But just to say that I'm the participation manager for Baseline, which is Lewisham Council's Advice and Support Centre for Young People. We're actually based in Lewisham Library, but since lockdown, we've all been working from home, and that doesn't stop what we're doing for young people. So we have a few major things that we carry out throughout the year. Our main work is called tracking. And what we're doing is contacting young people. So we're mainly working with young people aged 16 to 18. And also if they have SEND, 16 to 24. And the whole point of keeping in touch with them is to find out what they're doing. Are there any issues? What can we do to help? So we do the basic, well, not the basic, but we do, offer careers advice. So we're all careers advisors. We offer, impartial guidance, helping them to make choices, for their future careers. But we also look at the whole person. So if they do come with any other issues, which we found quite a lot during lockdown anyway, we're always ferreting away, trying to find out which organisations can support them. So tracking is a really main part of our work. And at this part of the year, this is part of our busiest year. So from about April all the way down to December, January,
Right.
It's this time of year.
A question.
Yeah.
Do you think America is a country or a continent?
Sorry?
Do you think America?
Is that someone hacking in?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to remove them.
Okay, I'll keep going. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yes. So at the moment we're collecting information from the year 11s, 12s, and 13s, finding out what offers they have for September. And if they don't have an offer in learning, then we're working with them to find a suitable offer for them or a suitable place. So that does mean, sitting down with them or on the phone anyway, talking to them about, the different things that they can look at, different aspects, different explorations, helping them to apply. If it needs a CV, we'll help them with that. Help them to fill up the application forms, etc., etc., and just really navigate through this mire. And you can imagine during these last few weeks, we've been really busy with all the debacle, which I won't have to repeat. So that's our work. And then from September, we'll be finding out what actual destinations they're in. So even though we find out now what offers they might have had, from December to December, we're still keeping in contact with them and their parents to find out what have they actually got into. And the whole point is to make sure that as many as possible don't drop through the net, or and so what I also do from about October half term, I run what I call RPA surgeries, and RPA stands for Raising Participation Age. So back in 2013, when they decided that young people have to stay until 18, we decided as a Lewisham to have these intense surgeries every few months and work with the schools and the local providers and college to talk about any young people who may be wobbling, in their studies, or who may have dropped out, so that we can grab them quickly. We sit around the table, although we Zoom now, but we discuss each individual young person with a view to who is going to take them to actually support them and move them on to the next stage. So it's about keeping them in education, in learning, whatever is needed for them. Because sometimes it's not even that they're ready for that. It could be that they actually need some kind of support before they can actually go into learning. So we'll look into that as well. So throughout the year, we're collecting information on behalf of Lewisham Council and also for the DFEE and the official kind of collections. There's also we collect called intended destinations. So you can see what the government are looking at is what are the young people intending to do in September. Then they look at what offers they've actually had, and then the actual destinations. And throughout that, we're helping them to you know, guiding them to do that. But also, if there are any issues, we're supporting them to, you know, to move on and to deal with whatever issues they have. That's basically it in a nutshell. And it sounds like a lot, but you know, each year cohort is about 2,500. So, you know, working with a number of quite a few thousand young people, but we do get help with, you know, we get school lists, we get sixth form lists in, we get college lists from around, you know, surrounding boroughs. We're all sharing across London information about young people, so we're able to use that information to upload to our databases. And again, that highlights any kind of any dropouts, you know, anybody who's kind of missing, etc. We also receive referrals from many colleagues, social workers, youth offending, the looked after teams, the carers, lots of different places make referrals into me, and my team of 6. We will, you know, support a young person with whatever they need. So I think that's it in a nutshell.
Brilliant. Thank you, Ethel.
Yeah.
Can I take a couple of questions, please? I'm going to take a couple of questions, Ethel, if you're okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Super. I'll ask a question first, Ethel. What do you think the main challenges are in COVID for the youth in Lewisham now? What do you think the main few issues are?
Well, before the A-levels and GCSE stuff, it was not really having a focus, worried about the future, you know, knowing that they're not taking exams and, you know, having to wait and see what the teachers were going to predict. And remember, we were working with young people who had issues. We are working more. We've noticed in the last year especially, we've got more young people who are coming forward who may have mental health issues. So, you know, there were quite a number of people before lockdown, before all this started, who we were working with, and we've had to keep that momentum up. So we contact them on a regular basis. And so, but what we're finding is there are more people who are also, you know, coming out with, you know, lots of issues that they're coming up with. So we're just really talking. So for us, it's, you know, maybe a talking therapy, but also referring them on to other organisations that can support them as well. I think, yeah, I mean, all the things that you've seen in the news the last few days, it's just brought up so many issues. And I think for this, a lot of the young people and their parents.
Let's try and take another question then, Ethel, please. Yvonne?
I think you're muted, Yvonne. Yeah.
Yeah, just had to mute myself. I'll mute myself quickly. Hi there. Oh, well. I've got 2 questions really. One is with regard to the current year 13s, who traditionally you would stop working with them now because they're going into that 19 age bracket. What is the council considering doing, considering that a lot of them, especially in our borough, I'm assuming, are, you know, their next destination, as in university, may not be available to them now because university places. Are you working with them for a year?
Yeah, we do that anyway, Yvonne, because over the years, you know, some of us are from Connections Day, so we never ever stopped. And so even though, you know, we officially, I'll say we work with 16 to 18 and blah, 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 but we don't actually stop. So we continue working with them. And we get referrals in from people of different ages. So we never turn anyone away. And that's just something we don't do. I was talking to one of the senior officers in the council today. What they're looking at is they're going to, over the next few days, is look at what's happening with young people and actually come up with a strategy where, you know, we'll be involved in that, but they're looking at how they can really have a proper concrete strategy for those and the older ones. So there'll be more information coming out about how they've been supported.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yvonne,
You're muted again, Yvonne.
you're muted,
Yeah,
Yvonne.
you're still muted. It's muted for some reason.
I'm kind of scared now
Yeah.
because things are happening that I'm not even
Yeah, I
touching
think
the keyboards, etc.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
just in terms of that year 13,
yeah.
if somebody say they drop out in year 12 and they don't decide to do an apprenticeship or go to a different college, or they're not sure what they want to do, how do you pick those up? Because I'm sure there's a few parents that don't know you exist, unfortunately.
Yeah. Because what it is, all providers, I'm the named person in the council. All providers are supposed to let me know if people are wobbling or dropping out, and that's where I was talking about our RPA intent surgeries. So that's where we grab those people. We find out about those people. It's not perfect, because if the organisation doesn't let me know that a person's dropped out, then I don't know. But that's what we've been doing the last few years. So I get that information in. We have the surgery, and sometimes if the surgery is not happening, because we don't have it every week, it's just every few months, then we just act on it there and then. So
Brilliant.
if I get a young person in, we just act on it straight away, because time is of the essence with these things. So we are quite flexible, I have to say.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you so much, Ethel.
Thank you, Ethel. And I've got to tell everybody, we're having a few technical issues, and people are hacking my conference, because I'm that well liked in the borough. People are hacking me. They want to get close to me. They want to engage with me. So I'm getting hacked. So apologies about that. Very quickly, I couldn't go through the structure of the conference because somebody hacked in. But what we're going to do now is we're going to go through the issues. Danielle, if you can get ready, please. So we're going to talk to Danielle Coleman about the issues and challenges. We were going to speak to Joel Dunn, but he's not available. Then we're going on to the speakers, the main speakers of the night. So we've got migrant leaders, Youth First. We've got Stephen Lawrence Trust, we've got Rushy Green Time Bank, and we've got Urban Synergy, which will take us up to 8:30. In between that, we're going to have a little interactive poll. And then 8:30 to 9:30, I've got a dozen people with organisations within the community who are fantastic speakers. I'm talking about Hilna, she doesn't even know she's speaking yet. We're talking about Lewisham Homes, we're talking about National Career Service, we've got Groundworks. So that's happening from 8:30 to 9:30.
Yeah, that's right, bro. Hey, bro, what's up, Maurice? Malparidos, es un desgraciado, Maurice.
I'm loved all over the world, mate. I've loved all over the world. I hope this all. Challenges. So we're going to bring you on to our next speaker. Danielle Coleman, I met her when she was 15, when we did a project down at the Stephen Lawrence Trust called the Lewisham's Young Leaders Academy. And she does a lot in the community, supporting youth. She does programs in the community for different sectors. I've really got high hopes for her. And I co-hosted an event with her regarding finance and issues financially. So Danielle's going to come on board and talk about the issues and challenges for youth in the community. I believe she's 17. She'll probably correct me when she comes on. Danielle, are you available?
I am on. Hi, Maurice.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Can you please make me a co-host so I can share my screen?
It's already done.
Thank you. 1 minute.
Nick Kerr, will you stop it?
So hi everybody, I'm Danielle, I'm 17 and I'm currently in year 12. I started the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme this year, which is a social enterprise, which is a social enterprise, and I organize events to help upskill young people and also connect them to established professionals so they can learn from them, and also so they can increase their network, expand their network as well. And thank you very much, Maurice, for having me on here. I'm sorry for that. Opportunities that young people need. Sorry for the background noise. Sorry for that. I have to go back. So sorry. Sorry. Okay. A lot of young people, the current system in school with the disciplinary methods is just punishes young people, which is similar to the prison system as well, as it doesn't look at, oh, sorry, I forgot to pause it, which doesn't look at the other problems that young people face, such as the problems they might face at home or in the community, which might lead to them having negative behavior. Another thing I want to talk about is providing skill set development workshops, which would help young people work on themselves and also find an alternative to making money, which sometimes might lead to them having bad behavior because they go to illegal means to make money, and also workshops on handling finances as a young person, because it really affects us, especially from the time we get to uni. With disciplinary methods, if because of the way the system is, we haven't given manage, which doesn't help. I wanted to propose was for businesses to help to provide support for young people that normally get into trouble, which could help them reform. And the alternatives to the current system that are listed that businesses could help with is skill set development, referral sessions for pupils when they get into trouble, so they could and possibly learn certain skill sets that they can leverage to make money, and also that will keep them occupied so they can use their time properly. Also taking on pupils whilst they're excluded, because a lot of pupils whilst they're excluded aren't always, they don't really have good things to do with their time most of the time. So it would help them with their self-development as well, and mentorships sessions where some of the staff could come into schools, because I know a few companies do this already, and there are a lot of mentorship companies that deal with mentorship of the youth. So a bit more of that, and a few of this, and also with skill set development, these are a few skill sets that if young people are able to learn, they can leverage them to make money where they don't necessarily have to go out and work or find a job. They could create jobs for themselves and create opportunities for themselves as well. Because for me as a young person, finding a job, it took me a lot of months to actually find a job. And if you look at a lot, the number of young people who from low income households whose parents can't always afford stuff, and when they might want to help their parents, but finding a job legally is hard for them, and sometimes they're being groomed by people to make fast money illegally. So if they're taught these kind of jobs, it will help them leverage it and make the most of themselves while they're young, which will also build up their character as well. And the last thing I wanted to talk about as well is financial literacy workshops, which is one, I did a small event on it last week or 2 weeks ago, teaching them about saving, investing, good financial habits, debt and credit, and the importance of it as well. Because if they choose to go to uni, they would have to handle the debt of their maintenance loan and I think uni loan, I've forgotten what it's called. They would have to handle the cost of that. And sorry, there's a bit of a technical difficulty with my stuff. And knowing how to handle all of those finances and build good credit and debt as well is really important for them growing up, so they can create generational wealth. Because one thing that has been keeping us in majority of young BAME people in low-income households is because we don't teach young people from the get-go how to handle finances properly, so they can develop certain habits to help them when they get older, and to help them invest in certain things to pay for their lifestyle and living below their means. So these are the basic things I wanted to talk about. These are the things that young people are already facing, but then the COVID-19 and the recession is going to influence more because because a lot of people's parents are going to lose jobs, and also they would a lot of young people have been impacted by the lockdown as well. And if you want to get into contact with me, these are my details. Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions?
Danielle, that was fantastic. Thank you very much for that. And I've been on one of Danielle's financial webinars and co-hosted, and it's fantastic the type of work that she's doing with youngsters. So keep up the good work. You know, I'm stalking you, Danielle, to work with me as well. So keep up the good work. Is there any questions for Danielle? Can you remove your shared screen for me, please, so I can see what's going on?
Okay.
See all the action. That's better. Okay, I can see faces again. Right. If anybody got questions for Danielle, a young lady in the community, she knows what's going on. Any questions before we move on?
Hi, Danielle. This is Jen Stacia from Lewisham Council. Are you aware that Lewisham are looking for apprentices at the moment?
Danielle, are you there? Danielle?
I'm sorry, Maurice, it was breaking up.
Okay, can we have that question again a bit louder, please?
Hi, Danielle. This is Jen Stacia from Lewisham Council. I was just saying, are you aware that Lewisham are looking for apprentices at the moment?
Pardon?
I'll type it in the chat because maybe my sound is not.
Are you aware that Lewisham Council are looking for apprentices at the moment?
No, I'm not aware.
You're not aware. Is there any more questions that anybody would like to ask?
I have a comment rather than a question. I just wanted to say what an amazing presentation that was, Danielle, and how wonderful the work is that you're doing, because I think things like entrepreneurship and financial skills should be taught in schools, and so often they're not, and then we're letting young people out without the skills they need, the life skills. So I just wanted to say congratulations on the work you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Danielle, hi, this is Elham Fardad speaking. I will tell you a little bit more about what my charity does to support young people later, but I also wanted to echo what Jane said. What a fantastic presentation you just made. I loved your slides, transitions and everything. Well done, that was amazing, and I love what you're doing. And I will later email you and ask you the real question, which is, would you like to become a talent ambassador for my charity, Migrant Leaders? I will write to you. You don't have to answer now, but I will write to you later by email. But
okay.
Well done, very well done.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I'll take two more. Del, did somebody else have a question? I heard. No more questions?
Hi, it's just something I wanted to add. Again, similar, it's not really a question, more comment.
Yes.
It might be useful. There's a current program called 100 Black Interns, which is trying to get young people from the African Caribbean community into investment management. So if that helps anyone, that's something maybe to look into.
If you contact me, Al, we're having an event on the 30th of September where we're promoting all programs under one roof, which I'm going to talk about later. So if you can contact me, my contact details are in the chat room. We'd be happy to support. And also Lewisham Council, if you've got apprenticeships, please join us on the 30th of September. we've got an event taking place where we're promoting opportunities. Okay, thank you very much. Now we have Beatrix, are we ready with the poll? With a bit of interactive, we're going to do a little poll, interactive poll, and then we're going to go on to migrant leaders. So my technical right-hand lady should be ready. Aha, here we go. So you're going to need your phones, guys, for this. And we're just going to do a very quick interactive poll. If you can get your phones out and just type in this company name with the code, and it's 3 words. You're just putting in 3 words here. Dial in the company name and dial in the code, and you'll see this question come up. What issues have you observed in Lewisham Borough community? And just type in, or any words that you've heard from Danielle, any words that you've heard from this meeting, just type in 3 words in the poll, please, on your phone, on your laptop, on your iPad. It will take approximately 30 seconds. And while you're doing that, again, I apologize. Thank you very much. So the issues will show up on the screen, what people are typing up. I just hope my hacker doesn't get in here, else we'll have some interesting points being shown. Thank you. What we're doing with this information as well, we're collecting the data of all the information that's discussed tonight, and going forward we're going to be challenging these issues, coming up with solutions for these issues as well. So thank you for all participating. We're going to do this for another couple of minutes and then we're going to move on. Thank you very much. While we're waiting for 30 seconds, I've had people ask me for the minutes of the last meeting. What we're doing, we're going to start a membership scheme. So you come in and become part of the company, because obviously because of data, we don't want the information going anywhere. So we're going to have a membership scheme going out after the conference and feedback forms. And once you become a member, we'll send you the minutes, and you'll be invited to come into our different events and conferences. Thank you for participating in the poll. I'm going to give it another 10 seconds, and then you're going to get a quick presentation from me. Sorry, Elam, I'm going to do my quick presentation first. I'm going to nip ahead of you. If I get hacked, be prepared and get ready. Can everybody mute there? Can everybody mute there? Thank you. Okay, right. Beatrix, thank you very much. Appreciated. Very quickly, before we bring on one of the main speakers, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. I did the conference back in May, and I didn't speak about me and what my company do. And I got absolutely, I got told off by everybody for not finding enough time for me, which I don't. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Collab Training Academy, a little bit about what we do, and also we're going to tell you what we are planning in the future also. Let's have a look if I can find my computers. Here we go. Okay. Okie dokie, and I need to find the slide for that. Okay, So Collab Training Academy, support, develop, achieve. We're a not-for-profit organisation. What we do, we support people who are disadvantaged, people who've got barriers, people who've got challenges, all ages. The goal is to support them, help them develop, and hopefully they will achieve some progression in life. Next slide should be coming up. There you go. So our mission is to help learners pave the road for their journey through life. And our vision, if I can see it, let's have a look. Our vision is a world in which individuals are given equal life opportunities. Now, this is interesting. Since the George Floyd incident, I think now the world is noticing that our community need more help than most. And I don't want to get into any political areas, but everybody deserves an equal opportunity, and that's what the company is about. So the next slide, a little bit about what I do and what I've done in the past. The text has gone underneath, that should show up in a second. One of the things I've done in the past is training programs within the community, and this one was done with people who are 50 plus in the hospitality field. So we did the training, give them a qualification, and we had a 75% take up of jobs. And these are people who are long-term unemployed. The text should be there, but it's not for some reason. I was going to, under there, it tells you a little bit about my background. 30 years of recruitment, training, career fairs, events, mentoring, workshops, seminars, all to support people to further their careers, to further their education. I'm a very avid networker. I call myself a networking Don because if you're not networking, I don't think you're working correctly. So that's a little bit about what I do, and the text has gone. Apologies for that. I'll go on to the next slide. There's the text as we're going. So that's my history, a little bit about what I did in the past. Okay. So, so schools, I do workshops in schools to do with career, education, employment. This is one at Westminster University. The school is Harris Academy in Deptford. In the middle is one of my apprentices, Theo. I've worked with 5 apprentices, and yeah, so that's the type of work I do. I really love the training and doing workshops in front of people, but I must admit, I want to do more workshops with people who need more help. So the workshops I was doing in these schools and these universities, I want to really help people who need the support, especially during COVID. So we are planning programs to really help the more challenging needs. So again, the text is gone. It might show up in a second. When I mention networking, I'm part of Stephen Lawrence Trust, BME Lewisham Networking Group, and also part of the steering group for the Stephen Lawrence Trust. It's funded by the Stephen Lawrence Trust. I can't emphasize how important it is to network. If you've got a business in Lewisham or you're connected in Lewisham, the work that you're doing at the trust is amazing. So if you want to come in, most of the speakers in here, Lillian Brown, Nigel Kipax, Ron Bourne, Rushy Green Time Bank, Youth First, all of those organisations I've met all through networking. So if you want to get involved, we meet monthly, and it's worth popping in if you want to build your business and connections. Okay, this should say our aims, our objectives, and our outcomes. That should say that, and that should show up in a second. it's my aims. I'm not going to go into specific detail. I'm just going to tell you a little bit what my goals are. My history as a child is that I was brought up in Stoke-on-Trent. We're the only black family around our area. I went to school, and there was me and my 3 brothers who were the only black kids. Now, in my family, I'm the darkest, the blackest in my family. So I can laugh about it. I get a lot of digs from the family, but it caused a lot of problems at school. And I look at these issues that I had for people in the same position as me in school. Another thing in school, I was a hard worker. I didn't have any days off in junior school and high school, but I didn't get the attention I needed. And I knew, not being big-headed, but I knew I was talented, but I messed around because I just couldn't grasp the work in the schools. And so I'm rooting for the Morris stores. My family have a history of mental health, homelessness, hard drugs, and all the challenges that go on in life. I've got 6 brothers, 3 sisters. I've lost a few of them, but all the issues I support are around the issues that I have in my family. So that's why I'm pretty passionate about it. And that's why I built a training academy, so I can do events, training programs, and collectively as a group, we can go into schools, we can go into universities, we can go into the community as a group. I named the company Collab Training Academy, which is short for collaboration, because I want to work together. And over the years, what I've done is supported thousands of people in growth in different areas, but I want to do it in a bigger way. And that's why I have these webinars and these programs. So hopefully in the future, you'll see the workshops and all the training programs in different sectors. And hopefully I can lead that. Okay, the next slide. The next slide is data. And it's quite simple that we all know the facts in Lewisham. Is my data slide going to show? Thank you very much. Aims, objective, outcomes. Very light. So this is a bit of data. I'm not going to go through them all, but I really don't need to show every fact. But here's some of them that are quite disturbing. And the bottom one, life satisfaction. In the borough of Lewisham is 28 out of 30 cities or boroughs that have got poor life satisfaction. The top one, this is in 2018, 42% of 19-year-olds in Lewisham don't have a level 3 qualification. 26% are living in poverty. Now, all this data is available, and I want to do something to tackle some of these challenging issues that are close to home. But I'm sure everybody's got stats and data. We see it on the news every day. Mental health, obesity, schools, all these challenges, and hopefully together we can attack and approach and sort out a few of these issues with some of the people in the borough. Okay, I don't want to dwell too much on that. Okay, this slide, let's find out. The text is missing from this slide. So the next slide that is, hold on a second, I think I've jumped a slide. 1 second, please. So this is, I've got one more slide to go. We're holding an event on the 30th of September, which is for the community to come under one roof. And the event is called It Takes a Village. And what I'm trying to do on the 30th is to get all the organizations in here that have got training programs, that have got support opportunities, that have got apprenticeship opportunities, collectively I want to do an event where we do it under one roof, so we can all market together, we can all push together, we can network together. And this is the third. Let me repeat that slowly. So this event is the second part of 3. The third part and the final part of this is getting people to sign up for events, for mentor programs, for training programs, apprenticeships. We're trying to do that collectively on the 30th of September. So if you're interested in joining me, it's in partnership with the Lewisham BAME steering group. If you want to get involved with that, please let me know. We're asking for people to become a member, and it's £1. We're asking people for £1 or make a donation as an organisation. If you're a candidate and you're an attendee, it's free of charge. But if you're a company, we just ask you to join our membership. Okay, it takes a village. There we go. that's the event on the 30th of September. Please let me know in the chat if you're interested in doing that. As you can see, you've got all my contact details there. Morris Thor to contact me, which is great. But I'll show these details later on in the presentation. I'm going to stop this slide now and take a couple of questions, and then we'll go on to migrant leaders. But please, guys, my final push is, if we work collaboratively, we've got the biggest organisations in Lewisham in this room. And collectively, if we market together and push together, we can hold massive events where we get people in masses to come and support. So thank you for your patience, and apologies again about the slides. Is there any questions that anybody want to ask before I move on to migrant leaders? No questions. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to hand you over to Elam from Migrant Leaders. I met Elam some time ago. She's doing some fantastic work to help people disadvantaged. When she told me a story of how she rose to her position, one of the things that stick to mind, that she had to sleep outside her college to get into the college to do her examinations, which sticks with me. And the work that she's doing is at corporate level, so the leaders of the community have a good opportunity. So before I waffle on, Elam, and I've seen your organisation being shortlisted for 2 awards for Best Director. So congratulations and good luck there. Elam, if you'd like to take it away, thank you very much.
Thank you, Morris. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. And I'm already enjoying hearing all the stories, challenges and opportunities that everyone is talking about in the community. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Elham Fardad. I've spent 23 years working in senior leadership positions as a finance director, as a transformation director in big companies such as GE, News Corp, and Ernst & Young. I'm married with 2 wonderful children, but life hasn't, as Morris alluded to, life hasn't always been this good. We migrated from Iran just over 30 years ago, when I was 13 years old, and we had some of the typical migrant challenges: lack of resources, lack of know-how, lack of connections, visa problems, family breakdown, all of the above, really. So I was lucky enough that I was very determined, as Morris suggested, and I had some early supporters who really helped me to get there. Migrant Leaders is a charity that I launched and registered with the Charity Commission just 2.5 years ago. but it feels like a lifetime because it's really my purpose in life. And I'm going to share with you what the charity does. But in short, we work with 16 and 25-year-olds. We started with supporting, developing and providing opportunities to first and second generation migrants. But very quickly we realized the development program that we have of mentoring, work experiences, corporate connections, and digital program and training, we realized very quickly that actually this doesn't have to be just first and second generation migrants. It's all disadvantaged backgrounds. So we are very much a BAME charity. 96% of our young people that we support are from BAME background, and 4% are white disadvantaged backgrounds. We now have over 450 director level mentors from more than 95 FTSE 100 and leading companies. And we have corporate partnerships from big FTSE 100 companies such as Anglo-American, Kantar, Smith & Nephew, and more are coming. What is special about those corporate partnerships is that it gives huge opportunities for experiences and connections to the young people who join our development program. So I'm going to spend 5 minutes to take you through our impact report, or some of it, so that you can visually see what I'm talking about. I think, Maurice, you're going to allow me to share my screen if you haven't already. Perfect.
It's already done, yes.
You're too good. You're too good. Thank you. Thank you. So hopefully everyone can now see the cover page of our impact report.
Yes, we can see it.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So thank you. So the impact report, basically what I want to actually, before I go on to the program, I want to share with you something. It shouldn't be news, but you know that in terms of the statistics, there was a report published by Sir John Parker back in 2017 that looked at the ethnic diversity of UK boardrooms. And I have a little childhood habit. I like my numbers. So I always, since my childhood, like to guess numbers to see how far right or wrong I was. And usually I'm not too bad. I'm not that far wrong. But with the Parker report, I was really wrong. The numbers about the ethnic diversity of UK boardrooms were a lot worse than I expected. So the UK has got 14% citizens of color, what the Parker Review called citizens of color in the population. Only 2% of FTSE 100 boardrooms are citizens of color, and that includes non-executives. And when I looked further, I looked at the data and analyzed it much further, and only 1.3% of them are first-generation migrants. And astonishingly, almost all of those migrants who made it into that 1.3% and became board directors of these big companies, almost all of them, apart from one person, were privately educated. So that was the moment I realized I really beat the odds in doing the things I did in my career. And I also realized that, thank God, I didn't know the reality of how bad the odds were against me, because that would have scared me as a young person. And also I realized that I haven't been doing enough. I realized that it's not good enough just to mentor a few ethnic minorities in Ernst & Young or other big companies, and that I need to help develop the young people much earlier. So that's where the Migrant Leaders Development Program emerged from. And this is what it's made up of. We are lucky enough, by the way, to have Yvonne Thompson as a patron of our charity. Yvonne Thompson really needs no introductions. She is incredibly good role model for myself and many others. She is also on the Parker Review Committee, and she's a wonderful supporter to me. So massive thanks to Yvonne for supporting our charity. So the program is made up of this. The mentoring program, as I mentioned, we've got 450 director level mentors from more than 95 FTSE 100 and big companies. So we have the opportunity to match mentors to the young people who applied to our development programs. The young people are able to say in their application what kind of careers, industries, and jobs they aspire towards. And we take our time really carefully matching the right mentor to them who can really be a life-changing opportunity. Beyond the mentoring program, we have conferences, workshops, internships, and work experiences that we co-develop with our corporate partners. For example, this summer, we developed with Kantar a virtual internship for 3 weeks, and our mentees were able to apply to that and join the virtual internship with Kantar, which means 3 weeks of solid experience, high quality training with Kantar. And we have numerous other opportunities always coming up. We also have a digital program and a young leader model, which I developed in order to bring some of the best qualities that I think will help young people be resilient and determined to succeed. And in developing that young leader model, I tried to bring multiple cultures together, because I myself come from different cultures and had experienced the good things about British culture. So I tried to really bring all those best qualities and attributes and capabilities into this young leader model. And we have training modules on our digital zone, which young people can use across the country. These are some of the examples of some of our mentee case studies. Luke is one of my favorites because I've been mentoring him personally for the last 3 years. And I remember when we first met, and he was clearly talented, clearly had ambitions, but was always a little bit unsure about going for opportunities which really matched his talent. Without divulging too much, 3 years on, he's now been accepted for a graduate position in Ernst & Young, and he will be starting this September. And I have high hopes for where his career is going to take him, and importantly, who else he's going to take with him as he succeeds in that career. So we've got many comments from and videos actually. I will later send this presentation by email so that you can click on the various videos and hear our sponsors and corporate partners talk about their experience of working with our young people and why they've joined the Migrant Leaders Development Program as corporate sponsors. So our numbers. As I mentioned, we've got 450 senior mentors. We've got 365 mentees. I've shared some of these numbers with you already, but my biggest challenge and really my big ask on this conference is for you guys to really promote migrant leaders. If you think that your 16 to 25-year-olds would benefit from our program, we have capacity to take hundreds more young people onto our development program. I am always actively recruiting more and more mentors and more corporate sponsors to give a wide range of experiences to young people. We have fantastic capacity to take on several hundred more young people into our development program, which typically lasts for 3 to 5 years. And is modular in nature, so it shouldn't take too much of their time, but they can pick and choose what experiences would suit their aspirations. So my ask really is to get young people 16 to 25 years old to apply to our program on our website. My challenge is that I'm no longer young and I don't know many young people. So I need everyone to spread the word, please. So I try to tell a story here in terms of how we started. It all actually started in China because I read the Parker Report and then went off on holiday to China for 2 weeks with my family, my husband and kids. And unusually I had jet lag, which doesn't happen to me often. And I would wake up 4 a.m. every morning, look at the hotel ceiling and thinking, what on earth am I going to do? I'm wide awake. And I thought, you know, if there ever was a time, instead of moaning about jet lag, I would sit down and actually write up that charity plan that I had in mind. So within 2 weeks, I realized actually the charity program has turned out to be quite a decent program. So I set up meetings with the charity sector, public sector, and my company contacts in London. And I explained to them about the program, showed them the presentation, and the rest was history. That's how Migrant Leaders really started. So here are our story that you can tell from the presentation later on. We've done lots of exciting things. This one was with the Smith & Nephew, the company that is in the sciences, engineering and medical equipment. So this particular conference was really practical and special. They got a fantastic tour and practical demonstrations and advice from many, many senior executives and scientists in the Smith & Nephew. Since that conference, we've done a deep dive into STEM careers with the Smith & Nephew. So it's been really, really wonderful. We're going to do with Anglo-American, we're going to do a deep dive into the diamonds business, engineering in the diamonds business. So really giving really amazing insights and experiences to young people. So our mentors, I've listed some of the companies that have joined, some of the companies that our mentors work in, so that young people can get a huge choice of the kind of industries and careers they could get a mentor matched to them by migrant leaders. So our mentors are highly motivated. All the mentors I have recruited are volunteering for the charity because they share our values and objectives, and they love helping disadvantaged young people develop and giving them opportunities. This page is a bit boring because it talks about the finances of the charity. Most of our income comes from the corporate sponsors, which is why we don't ever charge educational institutions or young people for any of the services that we provide them. It's all free of charge. So I get the corporate sponsors who happily contribute to most of our income. And a little bit about the plans for the future. And a little bit about myself and my two lovely children who I mentioned. And appendices really talk about the learning journey that the young people go through over a 5-year period. We basically hold their hands until they get their first professional job, whether as a graduate or as an apprentice. And even after that, they will forever be part of our community. Really, in Migrant Leaders, I have found a new family, both in the mentors as well as the mentees that go through our program. It's the best thing I ever did, apart from having my wonderful children. So thank you for that. And if you have any questions at this point, I would really love to answer them.
Thank you for that, Ilham. I know I've got 2 or 3 people who want to ask questions. I'll start with Chantel. She wanted to ask a question, and then the other 2 guys can jump in after.
I shall stop sharing so we can talk.
Hi, Ilham. Great work that you do. I just wanted to ask, so my name is Chantel. I'm a trustee for Lewisham Parent Carer Forum. And my question is in regards to your organisation, do you support BAME send young people with special education needs and disabilities at all?
Really good question. And if I'm honest, it's one that we haven't considered before. When I first started Migrant Leaders, my starting thinking was, oh yeah, let's pick the readiest kids just to give them the opportunity to develop and connect them to big companies. But very quickly I realized that there's no joy in that. So we started really widening the range of academic performance so that we don't pick just the highest academic achievers, that we pick others as well. So I must admit, in terms of learning difficulties and disabilities, we haven't yet considered that, purely because we've been so busy developing, designing and delivering the charity program. But I know that that is something that we should consider. The short answer to your question would be, if such a young person wants to apply to our program on our website, they really should do. And we will consider if we can help them.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, next question. Was it Roger? You wanted to ask a question? Roger, are you there? No, you're not. Okay, Christopher. Christy, are you available? You want to ask your question now? No, Christy is not there. So Ilham, if you look at different boroughs and youngsters who join your program, what sort of target market? I won't say the ideal candidate, but there's thousands of youngsters now who are looking for mentors, who are desperate for support.
They are all welcome. Maurice, they are all welcome. We don't have a typical candidate. The kind of candidates I love is the ones that we can help the most. So the most disadvantaged candidates, motivated enough that they would apply to our development program on our website, but those that we can really help, who would benefit from the mentoring, who would benefit from the corporate experiences, widening their horizons, seeing what is possible. So that's quite a wide range of young people from disadvantaged backgrounds. And of course, we are a BAME charity. We really would like BAME candidates. At some point, a couple of years ago, I realized that we were not getting enough Afro-Caribbean candidates. So I started presenting at schools which had more of an Afro-Caribbean student population. And as a result, we managed to correct that and try and kind of encourage those young people to put themselves forward. And we've seen the results are incredible. We then put those young people in conferences, for example, with Kantar, which is a creative industry and marketing and branding company, something that maybe Asian and Afro-Caribbean backgrounds wouldn't necessarily think of going into as an industry or career. So I've deliberately tried to mix it up to widen their horizons.
Excellent. Hilne?
Yeah.
Hi, Hilne, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. Thanks.
Good. You got a question?
Yes, I have. Though part of it was answered because it was going to be about the take-up of by Black boys in particular, is what I was going to ask. But I'm really pleased to hear that you've already identified that and made some changes. And what I wanted to understand a bit better was the final outcome at the end of this process. Is it about getting them a job? And have you seen any trends in terms of companies taking on Black boys?
Yes, this is a really subject close to my heart and has been forever. Luke, as I mentioned, my own mentee, who I've been mentoring for 3 years, he is typical of that outcome. There was no way that Luke would have got into EY, if I may say. Very little chance that Luke would have got into EY had it not been for the program and the mentoring and coaching that he got through Migrant Leaders. Not a bad reflection on EY, but because Luke himself wouldn't have thought of EY as a company to aim for. When I mentioned the Big Four or EY, his response was, "You're aiming too high for me." And I know talent. He's incredibly talented and driven. And as time shows, 3 years on, he has himself landed that brilliant position in EY, and I know he's going to be a star in that company. So many such outcomes. And even though the charity is just under 3 years old, I am now beginning to see such outcomes to do with jobs. Previously, the outcomes were mainly to do with education. There was a case of this young lady who became the first person from her school to ever get an offer to study medicine at a university. And that again was as a result of her own talent and hard work, of course, but her Migrant Leaders mentor happened to be a medical doctor who went to UCL herself and who took her with her to the campus, coached her, did role play interviews, basically all the things that a young person needs in order to get into a top university. So lots and lots of the stories like that I can tell you.
Thank you. And well done.
Brilliant. Elam, thank you very much. Did you show your contact details, Elam, or are you going to put
how would you like me to do that? Would you like me to put it in the chat now?
Yeah, put it in the chat room, and then if anybody else wants details, I'm sure Elam's going to be there on the 30th of September with a program to sign people up and ask more questions. If Mervyn K can get ready for Youth First, Mervyn, can you get ready, please? Just to let everybody know who's arrived late into the meeting, we are recording this session, and we will be using quotes from people for future promotions. But we will continue recording. So after Mervyn Kay, we've got Ron Bourne and Sabrina Dixon from Stephen Lawrence Charitable Trust, the BME Network and the Steering Group. And then we've got Rushy Green Time Bank and Urban Synergy. From 8:30 to 9:30, I have got a host of speakers who are from different organisations, and I'm excited to hear some of them, especially Hilna, who she doesn't even know she's speaking yet, but she's such a great speaker, and she's the most successful BME network member, and I love hearing her talk. And she talks about unconscious bias, which is a subject close to my heart. So in between 8:30 and 9:30, my favourite speaker, Hilna, will be giving us 5 minutes, and she doesn't know it yet.
Maurice, you can't do this.
I'm doing it. Mervyn Kay from Youth First, please. Hi, Mervyn.
Hi, Morris. Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Hi.
Good evening, sir. Well, I'm sorry I'm not your favourite speaker, Morris. But that's okay.
Don't take it personally.
I won't. It's fine. It's fine. Thanks, everyone. Elham, that was really awesome. Thank you. And I'll be dropping you an email. Can I share my screen, Morris? Have you already done
Oh,
that?
sorry, yes. Let's have a look. Mervyn, let's do this.
While you're doing that, Ethel, just want to say hello. I've not seen you in a long time, and it's very lovely to see you. I know I shouldn't do that, but I've worked with Ethel for a long time and not seen her for a while, so hello.
Can you imagine if we all did that to everybody we knew in the room?
I know, but
That'd be so cool. Hello. Right, Mervyn, you are now co-hosting.
There you go. Okay, can you all see that? So I'm Mervyn Kay, CEO of Youth First. Youth First, people who don't know us, is what we were, the youth services of the council. And in fact, when I was head of youth service, that's when I worked with Ethel and worked with setting up Baseline. We stepped out of the council in 2016 to form an independent, at the moment, and I'll explain why I'm saying that at the moment, we are a employee and youth owned community benefit society, or a mutual. And we stepped out from the council to run youth services on behalf of the council. So we're contracted and funded by the council, but we are we exist only in Lewisham at the moment, but who knows where we might go next. So as you can see, we basically run our core business, or our core offer, are youth clubs and adventure playgrounds of Lewisham. So you've got a map there broadly. What I would say is I'm not going to go through all the details of everything we do. I really recommend, if people haven't, they go on our website, which I'll put up later. But even if you just Google Youth First or even Youth Services Lewisham, we should come up. We at the moment have 10 sites. We have, 11 sites. We have 5 youth clubs and 5 adventure playgrounds, and then we have a pop-up in the town centre. When I say at the moment, some of that has been somewhat affected by COVID, which I'll again explain. And also the bulk of our funding comes from the council, and a lot of that is under threat. So there is a little bit of who knows what's going to happen next. We added, during the 3 years we've stepped out, or re-added, because we used to have it many years ago, a street-based kind of outreach team that mainly works in the town centre. There's a bit of an interesting story behind that I will come back to. But we do have a street-based team. Obviously, it's peripatetic, so it could be anywhere in Lewisham, but it focuses on the town centre. We put on a broad range of offers for young people. We work 8 to 19 with all young people in the borough. Although, as you'll see in a minute, we are targeted on trying to encourage those who would benefit the most to coming to youth services to attend. What do youth services mean, very quickly? Look, they are bricks and mortar in terms of the adventure playgrounds and the youth clubs, but really that's not the important bit. What is important is that young people get the chance to have relationships with professional youth workers or play workers as trusted adults. And those youth workers' jobs is to ensure that young people are given safe spaces, positive activities, chance to have a childhood, chance to have a youth, and also are taught a set of informal skills or capabilities so that they can learn to be empowered, they can learn to make informed judgments, They can learn to form relationships with each other in safe and trusted ways, and ultimately can then grow into the adults of the future, into the citizens and the employees of the future, to be happy and healthy, basically. And I know that happy and healthy is a broad, slightly hippie term, but ultimately what we're trying to do is allow them to have a childhood and a youth, but whilst doing so, they're getting that informal education. We spend a lot of money in this country, and quite rightly so, on formal education. We often ignore informal education, and actually increasingly in our economy, that informal skill set is just as important, if not more important, than that formal skill set. In other words, young people know how to communicate, they know how, as someone's said, manage their finances, they know where to go to help, they know how to filter information. And in this day and age, that's ever more important, that they know where, themselves to work out what's trusted information and how to use it. So what do we do to do all of that? Well, we try and focus on fun, and we try and focus on that more traditional kind of youth work. So we have 2 recording studios, we have a climbing wall, we have adventure play in our adventure playgrounds, we have bike projects, we have skating's very popular, we do parkour. That picture in the top right hand corner is a music project we've done, a talent showcase we've done a number of times that I'm particularly proud of. We had 200 to 300 kids or young people in our hall at TNG, which is our biggest youth centre. And it's a lot of people, if they turned up to that and not youth workers, would say, oh, it's a bit, isn't it chaotic? It's not. It's absolutely this beautiful vibe of a lot of young people who might not normally mix, coming together and bigging each other up and performing to each other. It was a showcase for what we've done in the recording studio, but more amazingly, it was also an open mic. And there's a worried whether kids are going to respect each other. The level of respect on show was quite unbelievable. So particularly proud of that. Obviously, COVID has somewhat pulled the rug from under what we do at the moment. So what we did very quickly, our raison d'etre is to provide safe spaces and face-to-face youth work to young people. So COVID came along and kind of went, oh, you can't do that. We very quickly, and we're not revolutionary in doing this, so I don't want to brag about that. We've done this more amazing in other organisations, either in the borough or elsewhere, but we tried to work out how we could go virtual. So please do look at our website, and please do look at our Instagram. We are unbelievable range. Youth workers have done an amazing job at quite creative about what we've offered to young people to do virtually. Essentially, there are 3 things we're doing virtually. There is a kind of range of Joe Wick style activities. In other words, there's exercise, there's cooking, there's all the things you see there. There's Zoom groups that aren't just, so the Instagram stuff, you can either consume passively or you can watch it as it's live. The Zoom groups are more trying to replicate what we've lost through our youth clubs and adventure playgrounds. So young people log on with youth workers and do activities. And then the third thing that us branching out a little bit, I say branching out, but it's more picking up what we maybe left behind with the council, is we've started to go back to doing that one-to-one work. Of course, youth workers do one-to-one work naturally in sessions before, but we went through our caseload. We see about 6,000 children in total across the borough. Of those 6,000, we see about 1,500 regularly. We define regularly as 28 times or more a year. We went through our regular caseload and through a set of criteria during COVID, worked out who we thought were vulnerable, and youth workers kept in touch with them. Mental health, people have mentioned, is a massive issue anyway, and COVID makes an even bigger issue. And safeguarding became a massive issue, as I'm sure many people in the room know, because of COVID. And some of the stats on the fall in numbers to social care referrals is quite shocking when you hear them during COVID. But the thing is, that means there's a lot of hidden harm. And I think later on down the line, we're going to see that catch up with us. So we were keen to make sure we're keeping in touch with those young people we work with. So we had about 200, 220 young people who we were keeping in touch with across our service. And we're going to carry on evolving what that means. So we've been doing summer. Summer is very important to us. Summer schemes are kind of our Christmas. It's our busiest time as an organisation. We'd normally see about 1,500 young people in the summer. We are unfortunately face-to-face only seeing about 150 or so young people because we are restricted to bubbles of about 15 young people at a time. in our sites, but we are doing it nonetheless. Creates a little bit of a problem with unit costing, but we're doing it. So whilst we have a summer program, it is referral only this year because we are gatekeeping that for those who would benefit the most. So we are driving, and I would encourage you to drive any young people you know to our virtual offer in terms of the Instagram and the Zoom sessions, and that can all be seen on our website. A little bit of figures behind what we do. As I said, we are focused geographically in areas of the most deprived part of Lewisham. So you can see that on the map. We actually, whilst we are the youth service of the borough and we are therefore open to all young people, we've traditionally and continue to be focused on the BAME community, and you can see that in the stats there. I think it's, and you add it up, to around 80% of the young people who attend are BAME. And the white bridges tend to be that white working class in those communities. So that isn't by accident, it's very much kind of by design that we're trying to offer it to those. Of course, it is also about peer mix, what we do. So it's vital to us that we do try and bring young people in. And some of our sites are between communities, shall I say. So TNG, which is in Sydenham, is very interesting because you've got quite a wealthy community at the top of Telegraph Hill, and you've got a more deprived community at the bottom, and they do kind of meet in the youth centre. And I think that's a great positive of youth work and what we do. And just a little bit about what our makeup of our team. We are quite a diverse team. You can see the gender split there. The staff distribution is around, you can also see there. We do try and focus as much of our resources. You know, a lot of it's taxpayer money, so it's vital that we make the most of that. So we try and focus as much of that on the front line, and then you can see the workforce representation there. That again, traditionally in the youth work sector, it's not unusual to see that 80% of our workforce are from the BME, and the same actually is true of our board, and actually our executive management team is, if you include Jewish in the BME, is 100% BME. So there is diversity there, that kind of reflects the diversity of our user group. Interestingly, what I've heard said is, as a service funded by the council, a large scale service, we're probably the only service that directly reflects both in staff makeup and in user group the diversity of the borough, which is interesting, especially because unlike other services, we are a kind of positive there to come to the door when you've necessarily got an issue. How we funded? Well, we are majorly funded by the council. That we were set up in part by the council and the staff to tackle the fact that as head of youth service, we made 55%, or I'd led 55% cuts because of austerity to youth services. And I basically got sick of that. And a group of staff, we went to the mayor, Sir Steve at the time, and said, there has to be a different way. Can we do this? And what we promised is we would offer some savings. So over the first 3 years of our contract, so we offered 15% saving to the borough whilst growing or improving services. So over that, we're 4 years old on the 1st of September. We've only grown. We've grown in terms of the numbers of usage, numbers of sites, numbers of programs. We've added programs. So we've added programs either by saving money or by bringing in other funding. So for instance, we go into schools and do PHSE type work under something called the Universal School Safety Programme, which is focused around the borough's 5 safety messages. That is been funded by the Home Office, and it's now funded by Sadiq and the Mayor's Office. We also bring in some private grants and some charitable donations, although that is a struggle, as I'm sure many people in the room can appreciate. We have raised, I mean, it says 8 successful bids, that is in the last year or so. Over the first 4 years, we've raised over £1 million for Lewisham Borough. That has been focused on young people in the borough. And the problem is that in moving forwards, that we are looking at further cuts from the council. We don't know what will happen yet post March 31st, 2021, whether we'll have any youth services, and we're in discussions with the council what that means. To be fair to the council, they're under a lot of stress and in their finances, and there's a lot of push us and generally resources into more targeted youth work, which is fine, but I will always argue the case for a level of universal, and I will do that for 2 reasons. One, because I think it's important young people have a childhood and have safe spaces, and have a place to enjoy themselves and grow without having to walk through the door of set programs. But I also think it's really important from a youth worker perspective, and my background is youth work, is that, you know, you make relationships over a game of pool, over cooking, over ping pong, that you then lean on to help a young person. And that leaning on the relationship might be you doing the work as a youth worker, or it might be referring to programs such as the ones we've heard of from today. But the trust is built over time in those spaces where young people have chosen to come because the reason they want to be there, the kind of carrot approach rather than the necessary stick approach. For instance, actually, we partnered with RBS, I think, a few years ago, and did some.
Just a couple more minutes.
Yeah, I'm nearly done. Don't worry. So that's some of our partners. I would very much love after this to add some more partners from some of the people in the room. And very finally, I'm going to end on this, because me and Maurice talked about what other people can do. Well, we're always looking for volunteers. We're always looking for friends of Youth First. I would say to you, it is the youth service of the borough. So please, if you've got ideas and you want an organisation to channel those ideas through, please talk to us, because it's important that we raise money together for the borough and we spend that money for the good of young people. That is a very whistle-stop tour of Youth First.
Excellent. Thank you, Mervyn. Appreciated. I know that Collab Training Academy is working behind the scenes with Mervyn. We've got a meeting at the end of the month to see how we can work collaboratively. And you're doing some great work, Mervyn. Keep it up. I've got a question from Sue Stokes. Sue, are you there?
Sue, is it your? I've seen your question. Do you want to ask it to be?
Yes, please, Merv.
Yeah.
Are you there, Mervyn?
Yeah, sorry, I thought Sue was going to read out the question. The question is, how do you support young people with additional needs and disabilities? Do you have trained workers with knowledge disabilities? The answers are kind of halfway house. So it depends on this kind of spectrum of the disability and additional needs, to be honest. We have an unbelievable amount of young people who either have recognised statements or actually don't have statements, but we do recognise that they've got additional needs. So, and our staff, a number of our staff are trained to help young people with a level of SEN, and we can adapt some of what we do to some physical disabilities. There is a limit to that. We don't any longer, for instance, have a youth club that, for instance, has changing facilities or a hoist or anything to deal with that higher level of disabilities. We used to as the youth service, but we don't anymore. So whilst I want to say yes, it's a yes with a kind of caveat.
Can I ask a question?
Is we were contacted by young people with hearing difficulties to ask if we could adapt our Instagram account, our Instagram live account. So we've added, for instance, subtitles to adapt. So we're always open to working with people and trying to look where we can adapt. And yes, we can try and train our staff as much as possible, but it's a varying degree of ability depending on our staffing capacity at any one time.
Okay, can I just ask one more thing just back of that? If a young person has personal budgets or direct payments through short breaks, you know, either with children's services or services, would they be able to attend with a carer? That would be helpful, wouldn't it?
We would certainly look to that. I mean, we've always been open to that. We've never had it. We did used to push that with colleagues at the council, and it's never happened. But absolutely, we'd be open to that. Yes, and if you want to talk off the table about how we can do that, we can. What I would say at the moment for COVID is making it a little bit trickier, but you know, let's hope there's a future beyond that. But we should have that conversation.
Lovely, thank you.
Brilliant. I'm going to take one more question. If there's one more question for Mervyn, then we're going to move on. Show me your hands, unmute your mics if there's one more question. Excellent, thank you. Thank you for that, Mervyn, and brilliant work, keep it up. I look forward to working with you in the near future. Thank you very much. Now, moving on swiftly, I'm bringing on two speakers. So you're getting two for the price of one back to back. You've all heard of the Stephen Lawrence Trust. Well, one of the guys works for the BME network group for Lewisham, Ron Bourne. He's been in the community for, he must be about 75. He must be about 75 years old. The work that he's done in the community is crazy. And then we've got the other lady coming on board who's the new chairman of the BME steering group.
I think it's chairperson, Maurice.
Sorry, it's chairperson. What did I say? Chairman. It's typical of me, isn't it? I can't do anything right.
1990s wants their ideas back.
It's terrible. Chairperson, Sabrina Dixon. So without further ado, this is Ron Bourne from Stephen Lawrence Charitable Trust and Sabrina Dixon. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for the awesome build-up, Maurice. Hope I can live up to it. Well, I should start by saying, actually, well done again, Maurice, for assembling this panoply of community champions. Another great event. Building on the first one. And hopefully you can achieve what you want to with the following events on the 30th. Thanks for having me. As Maurice said, my name is Ron Bourne and I'm the Community Development Manager at the Stephen Lawrence Charitable Trust. With the 5 minutes that Maurice has allowed me, I'm clearly not his favorite speaker, but we press on. So, with the 5 minutes I have, I decided I just speak quite swiftly about the most relevant aspect of or the thing most relevant to this evening's presentations, and that is the work of the fledgling community, the youth development subgroup of the Lewisham BAME network. Now, just to give it a little context, the Lewisham BAME network is a loose association of about 90 or so community BAME community groups that operate, that have beneficiaries in Lewisham. And how the model for the work of the network is pretty much we have a coalescence of groups around various themes on the BAME agenda. One of the first and perhaps the most successful so far has been health, and that subgroup was led by Barbara Gray, but we're not here to talk about health so much today. The youth development subgroup is something that's recently been set up, and it's been somewhat sleepy because of many other things that have come in the way. Obviously, health has been a predominant feature of 2020, not necessarily in a good way, but quite swiftly, the issue of young people has been forcing its way up above the parapet. And as such, we've been a little more focused, but we anticipate we're going to be a lot more focused on the issue of youth development once again. What do we plan to do, or what are the aims and objectives? Well, one of the things we want to, the main thing we want to do is to develop a sustainable BAME community sector. And with respect to youth, it's a sustainable community sector that can support the issues of BAME youth development in particular. So what we try to do, how we do this, we work a lot through people power. Fancy terminology for that. You'll hear people from Harvard and Stanford talking about the collaborative impact model, which is what it's really called, but we call it people power. But what it is really working with groups to build their capacity, and through the capacity of an expanding group of community organizations to advocate more for the issues that are on the BAME agenda, to work together in joint ventures to create financial sustainability for all the groups, and to develop a new a pipeline of leadership, because we work in a very intergenerational way. So we have young people working within the BME network, and people from the BME network, members of the BME network, supporting our youth development. So that's largely what we do. So I'm not going to go too much into it because I probably have about 20 seconds left. But what I would say is that for all of the organizations that are seeking to respond to the impact of COVID, particularly among the BAME community, not exclusively, but particularly because that's where it's perhaps most exacerbated. we are seeking partners to participate in our youth development subgroup. A few of you here I've already spoken to about this. The previous presenter, Mervyn, who I've not actually met in person, but we've spoken, and I've already talked a fair bit about what we're doing here at the Trust. And the offer is open to each and every one of you to have this discussion, because all of the features, everything that is offered by the participants here this evening are the sort of things we try to coordinate for young people, as well as to help those groups that are probably struggling under the pressure of the added demand of COVID, but also the expectation of reduced financial income as a result of the same COVID and the coming recession, the current recession and the worsening of the recession. So without any further ado, I will invite Maurice to, anybody who wants to contact me further to have any further chats about how they can get involved in the work that we're doing and how we can get involved and support the work that you are doing. Happy to do so. So Maurice, I think it's over to Sabrina now. You're muted, Maurice. How was that? Over 5 minutes under?
1 second. Oh.
Oh, you're muted.
You're muted.
Thanks, Ron. I can't reiterate enough how important the BME network group in Lewisham is. If you've got an organisation that's Black, minority, ethnic, and you're looking to network, you're looking for support, if you look at all the contacts in the room, the majority of them come from the network, and now it's expanding. There's some fantastic work coming from people. There's funding being won, there's opportunities, there's a new steering group. So guys, if you like networking, get involved with the BME network group in Lewisham. I can't recommend it highly enough. We'll have Sabrina for 5 minutes, Ron, and then we'll have questions for both of you, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Is that good?
That's fine.
Mrs. Chairperson. Mrs. Chairperson.
Oh, you're such a wind up. Hello, everybody. I knew I should have gone first one.
Why?
You said everything I wanted to say. So I'm going to use this opportunity as well, just to speak about myself as well. So my name's Sabrina Dixon. I call it my trade. So I'm a qualified secondary school teacher. I've been teaching for 8 years. I sit on Lucian's Mental Health Alliance board alongside lovely Miss Hilna. I'm also an associate member of James Ross Hunter Youth Support, which is based at TNG in Sydenham. During my time as a teacher, my mental health deteriorated very badly and I became very, very mentally unwell. I experienced firsthand the inequality of the care and support for those that are suffering with mental health illness. And on the back of that, I created a community interest company. My community interest company is called Social Inclusion Recovery Group, and it's known as SURGE. We have 3 main broad terms, and we are centered around advocacy for adults and young people, mainly from the Black Caribbean, Black African, and Black mixed heritage backgrounds. Right, I'm going to go into our network. I'm going to try not to repeat what one has said, but I may do. So we have a newly established steering group. We are part of the Lewisham BAME network. We are graduates from the BME Leadership Academy, which was a program, which was 12-month program that we completed last year. The network is a community engagement and development project funded by the London Borough of Lewisham and delivered by the Stephen Lawrence Charitable Trust. As of June, I have been appointed as chairperson of the steering group. I'm actually really thrilled to be in this position. I absolutely love our BME network and the amazing people that I've met along the way. Some of our main focuses are on collaboration, sustainability, and support of our BME network and our members and our wider community. Sorry, I'm trying to just look at my bullet points. I can't read my writing. I write a bit like a GP, so I do apologise. In order to make more progress, we need our Lewisham young people to get involved with our network. Our network is made up with around 90 members. So this is a perfect opportunity for our young people to collaborate with us and to go about changing our borough. So a few things that could come from our young people taking part in our network is opportunities to build their own personal social circle of friends and colleagues, opportunities to collaborate with the network of over 90 skilled, experienced community leaders in Lewisham, opportunities to showcase and promote their work to potential clients and grow their organisation, become more aware of the current voluntary sector environment, local and regional and nationally, access to experimental learning opportunities in specific fields of interest, e.g. education, health, youth development, and access to opportunities made available through Stephen Lawrence Charitable Trust. Maurice has spoken about the sign up that he's having on September the 30th. If you would like to get involved and like to be a part of change in our borough, please come to that event. And if you'd like to know any more, I'll add my email address to the chat and feel free to contact me. Did I do 5 minutes?
You did 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Do you want me to sing for the last 30 seconds?
No, thank you. I've heard you sing. Is there any questions, guys, for anybody, even in the network? Okay, Ethel.
Hi, Sabrina. Hi, Ron. I just want to ask, what age group are you looking at for the young people to get involved?
We would ideally want from 14 upwards.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
Guys, I can't see everybody in all the rooms. So if you've got a question and you're waving, I can't see. So if you want to put in chat, I'm going to take 2 more questions. Or if you want to shout out, let me know. Is there any more questions? Brilliant. Ron, Sabrina, thank you very much. Again,
you're very welcome, mate. You're very welcome. Well done. Well done.
Excellent work. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much.
You
Ron
too,
has put his email address in the chat. If you want to contact Ron, please get in touch with him. So we're going to have the next speaker coming in now from Rushy Green Time Bank. I know the work that they do at Rushy Green Time Bank. I'm a member of their society, for want of a better word, and the work that they're doing with elderly people and the give and take philosophies. And I'm partnering with Rushy Green Time Bank to look how we can help the community in many areas. But I'm sure Philip's going to explain a lot better than me. So without further ado, Philip Granger, would you like to take the floor, please?
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you for having me. I can't do justice, to be honest, to what I've heard so far this evening. And certainly Danielle really stole the show for me at the beginning, because the enthusiasm that she's got and the drive and the ideas are just phenomenal. And the reason why I say that is because I, in a way, a bit of my story really, rather than the time bank, is that I, as a young person, as a child, I was a failure. And I was told I was a failure at school by the vicar and so forth. And I carried that failure with me for many years. But it's not until I met people who encouraged me, and they didn't mentor me, they informally mentored me into a self-belief, that I was able to start to achieve certain things. And that has been perhaps in my secondary school and in my career work. And so I think what I'm, the words I'm hearing is, there's a mentoring is so important, and supporting youngsters to give them a vision, to give them a passion, and the belief that they can achieve. And it's funny enough, I myself helped a young Nigerian about 20 years ago. He was 18, and he was coming to the UK with £10. And I knew his sister, and he got stuck in Lagos. He couldn't come over, and I had to intervene and vouch for him so he could come in the UK. And he came £10 in his pocket with nothing else. And I wasn't a mentor, but I supported him. I encouraged him to go to the OU and learn and pick up some skills. I got him to learn to drive, to get a car, to get a job. Now he's a successful businessman. And I think, and in a way, I hadn't remembered this until this evening, that this had happened. And so the importance of other people helping others is so crucial and so fundamental. You don't know how much you may change someone's life by what you do and say to someone. And so I think that what I'm feeling about this conference and what I'm hearing is that we really need to raise up those mentors. And of course, I'm all that what Elam has been doing, and the work of Youth First is incredible. So in terms of the time bank, that is not what we do as such. And as Maurice said, we've over the years, I've mainly worked with older people and children, very young children, and the homeless, and giving food on Saturdays. And of course, the last 6 months has just been COVID. That's all we've done, COVID, supplying food for the Shield and so forth. But what we run what's called Lewisham Local, which is, the vision of Lewisham Local is about engaging the borough to be one that it gives and connects people and creates local pride. And part of our work is to promote a good practice, to promote good ideas, to encourage people to step out and do things, and encourage a lot of volunteering. There are lots of people in Lewisham. There are, my understanding, there are 45,000 people that go out of Lewisham every day to go to work up in London. And a lot of them, they go to work, they come back to Lewisham, and they're not really connected to what's happening. They're not on this meeting here tonight, you know, and it's how we engage them to start to bring a bit of hope and bring their resources and their assets and their skills and their money into Lewisham to support projects and initiatives that are going to benefit the people. And whilst we have Russia Green and other stakeholders in this field have focused a lot on the elderly, the youth is absolutely fundamental to invest in, because they are today's and tomorrow's generation, and we must invest. And so our role, if you want, is, even though we are not the experts, there's no way we have the expertise that there is in this room tonight in terms of interventions and support for young people. What we can do is to promote what's happening, is to connect people, to connect, and we are very keen on connecting on organizations and to help the capacity building of the sector. And it's networking. It's funny because networking, for me, I've been on loads of networks, and networking became a little bit like you went to a meeting and you had some lunch and you had some coffee and you networked. But I felt it started to be a bit passive really at some point, because that was just about quick network. But networking is what's happening now in this meeting. Networking is what the BAME network is doing, because it is very focused, and it has a, you know, it's not just having a nice cup of tea, it's actually working together, collaborating, finding solutions and helping each other out. And through the networking, maybe we can collaborate and actually do programs together. We can certainly find some funding and finance to come into the borough. So actually we come under the loan giving schemes under our Lewisham Local umbrella. And we're very keen on attracting money into the borough and start tapping into money and people investing in Lewisham. One of the things about investment and funding is that people invest in what they believe in. And so we're very keen on creating that kind of narrative that Lewisham is a good place, that it's worth investing in. And if I may recall some of my experiences in the past, when I would say to people, when I used to work up in London, where they'd ask me where you live, and I say Lewisham, and you could see on their face, oh yeah, Lewisham, you know, dump, you know. And that wasn't very nice. We need to be able to say Lewisham is a great place. And actually this meeting tonight shows it's incredible. It really is incredible. The number of incredible people we got and what we can do together. And so when you start to be positive and to express that belief that great things can happen in Lewisham, you start to create opportunities, you start to raise hope, and people will start to invest their time, their skills, and who knows, their money into Lewisham. We know Lewisham doesn't have industries. It used to be, they're all gone, but there's money out there uptown. And we know, we heard it from Mervyn, that council grants and stuff like that, that's going to get hit really bad. But there are still industries or businesses up in London where those 45,000 people go to work. Some of these industries have money and they can invest, but you need to be able to kind of narrate the good story about Lewisham. So that's really our role. And Ron mentioned about building a sustainable community sector, and it's exactly what we're interested in, trying to support to make this sector more sustainable by working together, by collaborating, and applying for funding together and doing projects together. So I think that is really what I could say. It's not a lot, but it's because in a way I'm learning tonight quite a bit from you guys, and I'm going to take back what I've heard and just think how I translate some of our work, especially when we've been just so into COVID and nothing else. And yeah, it's just, but I just want to encourage you. And I know some of you in this room, and I see Hilna here. Hilna is going to speak. Hilna is amazing. She's one of the stars in Lewisham. And so it really is fabulous to be in this room. So thank you for having me. And, just let's talk and let's work together.
Brilliant, Philip. But please don't put down the work that you've done in the borough for the years that you've done it and the appreciation that your organisation's got. Do remember the positive work that you're doing, my friend. Please do. I'll take one question for Philly, and then we're going to have a short break by an activity poll. Any questions for Philly, please, before we move on?
Quiet.
Oh, Philip, what's going on?
They've gone for a cup of tea.
Okay, Beatrix, we're going to do a quick poll, guys. Again, we want to collect data, but we want to find out what you guys are thinking as well. So we're going to do a quick poll. If you can just get your phones ready or your iPads before the next speaker. We just have a break and do a quick poll. If you put in the company at the top, can you expand that, B, please? Oh, okay. So you put in the website name. If you put in the company name at the top into your phone and use the code, put in the company name meti.com and use the code 9434976. And what can you offer the Lewisham Borough community? When we talk about offer, we're talking about your services, your programs, your support mechanisms, your ideas. The goal for us is to get this data and use it so we can develop programs and work with your programs. So yeah, I'm going to do this for about 2 minutes. While we're doing the poll, I'd just like to say to young people who are in the room, this event is the second part of 3. So the next event that we're having will be for you to come in and have training programs and discuss issues and perhaps look for a mentorship program or an apprenticeship or get support talking about your finances or your obesity or abuse challenge. So on the 30th of September, hopefully we'll have programs where you can come in and register because all the organisations in here are collectively, touching wood, can work together and put on a day of support. So young people, please bear with us. We are working on you and we're working with you for the future. And this is the second of a 3-part trilogy. After we've done this poll, we're going to go to Layla at Urban Synergy. But as I said, later, in between 8:30 and 9:30, I've got a speaker who's in the house tuning in from Jamaica. Evadne Bygrave is in Jamaica tuning in. She's going to talk about her singer book. We've got Hilda Fontaine, we've got Irving Hall, we've got Kareem Davies. Listen, guys, I'm not sure if I can fit you all in, but I'm trying my best. But there's some fantastic speakers. And also, thanks for bearing with us as well. I know it's a bit tedious listening to speakers back to back. When I did the conference originally, it was for 2 hours, but it was impossible because I kept getting all these good companies. Maurice, I want to be a part of this. So I extended it for 3 hours. I know it's long. Please take a break if you want to, but I want to hear these speakers, as many as possible. I want to work with them and listen to the work that they are doing. So apologies for the length of this meeting as well, and thanks for staying with us. So 30 seconds, please. 30 seconds. Fantastic. Thank you for all your poll, work experience, training. Excellent. Okay. Thanks, Beatrix. That's good. Let's do this now. Let's get the next speaker on. And it is Layla Thomas from Urban Synergy.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hello, yes, we can.
Oh, I was going to see if I could share my screen, but is it disabled?
Let me get you to share. I'm a sharing person, Layla. So there you go. There you go.
Let's see if I can do this then. Okay. Okay, can you see the screen?
Certainly can.
You can, excellent. Let me do from beginning. Okay. Why is that not doing as I want it to do? I can go for it anyway. Sorry. Right. Hi, folks. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Maurice, for the invitation. Who am I? I'm Layla Thomas. I'm the founder and managing director of Urban Synergy. Okay, so in this picture, you can see behind me, it's about 150 young people from Sedge Hill School, lots of diverse talent that we work with. And who am I? My experience, I've got lots of experience. So I work in technology in Canary Wharf, and also I've been a governor as well in a secondary school in Lewisham. And I'm the CEO of Urban Synergy, just helping young people to reach their full potential and raising their aspirations so they can achieve their dreams. So we work with, what is Urban Synergy? We work with 10 to 18-year-olds. We reach about, oh God, at least 1,000 young people in London every year. We're empowered by positive role models. We've got about 600 role models on our books, a lot from Black minority ethnic backgrounds, and pilots, lawyers, engineers, and scientists that have come together. Due to the COVID, we've been fortunate. We've been able to pivot our mentoring program, our accredited mentoring program, accredited by Mentoring and Befriending. So we've gone online. We've now got e-mentoring program running, supporting young people in London, actually, with professionals who volunteer their time from companies such as Refinitiv, Goldman Sachs, Salesforce, all the market leaders, building the confidence of young people, showing them those important soft skills that they need. And then what we do, we're all about opportunities. So we mentor those young people so they get valuable and essential work experience opportunities. So when they go for jobs in the future, they've got something they can talk about and something they've got on their CV, okay? We also do corporate mentoring programs with some big organizations and the banks. And we do work experience and life skill workshops. And we've done ready for work conferences and life skill enrichment activities. So we take the young people to different places so they can talk about it. So we take them to Downing Street, we take them to Savile Row, we take them to all different places where they can, places they would not normally have been able to get to. How we began in 2007 when youth crime was in a, really a big high with, I thought, what can we do about it? One of the other things I should have said about my experience, I'm actually a Lewisham resident, so I don't want you lot to roar, but that's actually a good thing on this call, right? But we thought, what could we do as local people that work in different industries? How can we support our young people to reach their full potential and actually open up our doors in where we work to mobilize them and give them access to these valuable work experience opportunities that they need? So what we did a mentoring program in Deptford Green of a group of boys there that are at risk of underachieving, and actually they all went to university. That was really positive, and that was back in 2007. Since then, we've worked in partnership with UBS Bank and done mentoring with a group of boys in Hackney that are at risk of not taking their exams, and they all took their exams. The teachers reached out to us. They didn't know what to do with these boys, but actually what they needed were role models who looked like them and that the young boys could relate to so that we could actually build their self-esteem and their confidence. So we worked on things like revision plans to get them to be positive and confident individuals, so they could be successful in achieving that goal with the school. So that went really well. Where we are today, this is a bit of our journey. As you can see, we reached 7,520 young people, do role model seminars, and from primary. So we've worked with every secondary school in the Lewisham Borough. We've got a growing demand with the primary schools, and we work with the sixth form colleges as well. And we do one-to-one mentoring, so a lot of volunteering hours that you can see on this this chart here. On one side, you can see we inspire young people. On the other side, on the far right, you can see talent. Last week, actually, I've been speaking on ITV on the Black Lives, Black Voices program and the thing I spoke about for the 1 minute was talent is everywhere, but opportunities are not. So that's what Urban Synergy is about. It's about creating, illuminating those career pathways for our young people so they can actually see all those career pathways that are available to them, so they can make those informed decisions and reach those positive destinations. Many of those positive destinations they can see from their bedroom windows, but they don't know how to get there. So this is why Urban Synergy does what it does. Another thing, there's lots of research out there. They talk about one city, two worlds. And it's exactly that. But when I mention things to sometimes young people, I mention some of those corporates, they don't know about them. If I say Goldman Sachs, they don't know who that is. If I mention some of the companies I mentioned, they don't know who that is. They don't know if there's degree apprenticeships. They don't know about that. If I mention Nike or certain high street brands, they know about that. When we did like BP, they know about BP, the petrol station, but maybe they don't know there's a BP in Canary Wharf, and that's what Urban Synergy does. It's about inspiring those young people so that they can see themselves in a different workplace. Young people are influenced, they're very impressionable, but it's who they see that are local to them, the role models that they see, who they're inspired by their parents in their network. How can we make that change? To provide and still facilitate, become and grow that diverse work-ready talent pipeline. So we do one-to-one mentoring there, meeting barristers and lawyers and pilots and engineers, instilling belief, showing them places where they can get access to internships. We have ambassadors as well that act as young role models to the next generation, and also work experience and graduate opportunities. Okay, top tips. We believe one interaction can change a child's life. We work with the parents. The parents, we believe the parents are the child's first teacher. We do parent workshops. Last week, we did a results day conference to help parents and the young people to be aware how You know, there's lots of things in the paper at the moment saying, you know, especially the bias in the system, maybe for, you know, BAME children. So we need, our thing is about being proactive and providing information to parents and young people so they can be prepared for when they open up that results paper, what options do they have? So that was our response to doing a conference for them so they can get that information. But, you know, we're looking, you know, we are the difference, and we lead our young people. And we're about bridging the gap between school and the workplace and providing that helping hand and a bringing for them. And our main thing is, yeah, working with corporates to provide those opportunities to young people. This is one of our young boys who was at just the class jester. A lot of our young people, you know, they're at risk of exclusion for being, you know, low level disruption, as we know. But we believe all young people have a talent. He became one of the high achieving pupils on the wall in his school, in the Lewisham school. And as a result of that, Usain Bolt actually came down, you wouldn't believe it, actually came down to meet him. But this is what Urban Synergy does. We're a network of role models who build confidence, build their soft skills, provide them with early opportunities so they can reach their full potential, to hopefully help them to reach their full potential. So again, talent is everywhere, but opportunities are not. That's what Urban Synergy is about, and anyone is open to getting involved. Okay, and the next question is questions.
We hacked again, Maurice.
I can see that. Yeah. I thought that's Maurice. I thought that's Maurice throwing pictures.
Se va pa'l beauty, a las 4 va pa'l mall, pa' eso de las 5 estaba por. Y viste de Cristian Dios la.
You're on mute, Maurice.
Leila, if you stop sharing.
Yeah.
And Beatrix, can you see these people to get them kicked out? Don't invite, it seems to be the type of names that are in the waiting room, Beatrix, are the people causing the problems, so don't let them in, please. Apologies, guys. This is my fan club. They want to be close to me. So they've been hacking at the start, and I've told them stop it, but they still keep stalking me, so apologies. Leila, I do apologize. Please take it away.
That's fine.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, do you want to finish off?
Yeah, yeah, I was just saying that, yeah, talent is everywhere, but opportunities are not. And Urban Synergy is just about providing a network of role models, and so we can illuminate those career pathways and providing those essential mentoring, you know, accredited mentoring opportunities for young people. So they're well, I believe what success is when preparation meets opportunity. And that's what Urban Synergy does via our accredited mentoring program. We've got 13 years of experience. And one of the things one of the success stories I wanted to share with you is, you know, a few weeks ago, we had one of our young people that are recognized for being on the Empower Future Leaders list 2020. He's now a solicitor in one of the top law firms in the world. And he mentioned Urban Synergy because when he was 15, he wanted to be working law, but he didn't have anyone in his family to access those opportunities or just get legal work experience of any form. And that's what we did. So we worked with him, and he got work experience in corporate law. He shadowed barristers, he met QCs, he did a mini pupillage. and now he works in one of the top law firms in the world, and you know, being a role model to the next generation himself. So it's that type of thing we're doing to plant a seed in young people, in hope in turn they come back, which they do actually, as role models and peer mentors the next generation. That's urban synergy.
Okay, thank you, Leila, appreciated, and keep up the great work.
Thank you.
We are running behind time now, so very quickly, I'm not going to use any more slides. I was going to use a slide. In fact, let me apologise. Has anybody got any questions first for Leila at Urban Synergy? I'll take one question before we move on.
I can see Hilna.
Hilna,
yeah, it's not a question. It's not a question though.
Oh, go on.
But I just wanted to say that my daughter was a mentor of yours, did one-to-one mentoring, and the experience for her was amazing. It was challenging, but she grew and learnt, and that experience will stay with her for a long time.
Oh, that's good to hear, an endorsement. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Make me smile. I can go away now. It's working. Yeah, thank you for that.
My pleasure.
You should reach out to me, actually. I'll talk to you afterwards. Yeah.
Keep up the good work, Leila. Okay,
thank you.
Guys, what I'm going to do, I just want to, I'm not going to put a slide up because I'm getting hacked to death and I don't like being hacked. So I want to say this to everybody. On the 30th of September, this event is called It Takes a Village. And we're going to have a sign-up day where we get as many organisations in the borough under one roof, offering training programs, offering support mechanisms, offering apprenticeships. So any program that you've got, if we do things together, we can market better and we can get more visual appreciation. We can get more youngsters, and it's not just about youngsters, it's about the parents, it's about children who are suffering. It might be about obesity, unconscious bias, it might be financial, it might be training. But if we collectively, under one roof, work together, we'll get a big sign up. So it's the 30th of September. I'm going to send details out. I'll explain more when I send the details to you, but hopefully you guys, with me, we can have a great impact and do it together. If that makes sense, can you give me a wave? Good, thank you. Now, for the next 50 minutes, we're going to have speakers back to back. Each speaker, I've got my stopwatch here, is going to get 5 minutes. And this is going to go till 9:30. We've got some fantastic people in the house. So it's just going to be a blitz. 5 minutes, I'm going to cut you off dead. Tell us what you do. Tell us what you can offer. Tell us what you've done in the community. Irving Hall, you're going to be first. I'm going to get the fantastic Helena to be second. Irving, are you ready?
Yes, Maurice, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, my brother. Howard, look at that smile, man. Wow. I can tell you haven't been
Thanks for putting me on as number one, my friend. I appreciate that.
Right, your time starts now.
Right, thank you, Maurice. My name's Irving Hall. Let me first big up Maurice and Ron for putting on this event. You know, I just can't believe this is actually happening. We're having people, real people in the community, real people coming together. If you know me, if you know what we do at Education My Life Matters, we're about that. We're about the community. So as I said, my name's Irving Hall. I run a school called Education My Life Matters, fondly known as Emnham. We've been going 7 years. Started off in Sydenham. We're now in Catford, opposite the Kaleidoscope. We predominantly work with Key Stage 3 and 4 learners. That's children from year 7 to 11. These are children that are at risk of exclusion, whether it be permanent exclusion or on the fringes, or sometimes children that just haven't got schools, or schools not wanting to take them. We don't refuse anybody. It's hard, grueling work, but our philosophy is that we want to engage them, we want to support them, we want to get them back to their host or their main schools, or we get them into a specialist provision. So we work holistically around supporting those learners and the people in their lives. We predominantly do a lot of work with children in care. We work with children who have educational help and care plans. The whole range, children in gangs, children on the fringes of gangs, children with victims, C.I.C, child sexual exploitations, you name it. We actually do that. We have a host of mentors down there, and I've heard some of the mentoring programs that have come on tonight. We've worked with some of them. I know some of them quite well, and we do the same thing. We're supporting our children in the community that need support, often are overlooked in huge schools. As an independent small school, we're often overlooked, but the work we do, I think, is invaluable. And if you speak to some of the children that work with us, who've been through our gates, you'll find out the testimonials are great. Because we're smaller, we're able to pay attention to details. We can actually do some really productive work with them. Some of our successes, we've campaigned, and I must say for the last 3 years, we've been able to now do a summer support program, which I think during the 6 weeks break and so forth has been essential for our children, because that's the time when they're likely to be drawn into negative behavior and activities. And with a bit of a struggle and some support from some of the departments in Lewisham, we've actually got that going. It's our 3rd year. Unfortunately, it came under COVID, but we stood strong and hard and tall, and we were able to actually put a program together this year, you know, against the odds. When all the schools flagged and closed during the COVID pandemic, we as a school were open, and we kept going. And yeah, we worked with a number of children, their parents and carers right through the COVID. The staff were exceptional. I have to big all the people up that work for Emblem. They do a hard job, a very hard job, and they are passionate. It's a kind of work that you have to be passionate about it. So you know, we love what we do. We get our pleasure from seeing the children move on and sort of, you know, do things that they thought they perhaps couldn't do. If you want to hook us up, if you're interested in working with children, whether in an admin or as a mentor or a teacher, NQT, you can send an email to us at info@emlm.org.uk or on our website www.emlm.org.uk. I'm sure when Ron does his and Maurice does their little directory, we should be in there amongst that. We are always looking for volunteers. I can't say enough, you know, every time I go to the job centres, there must be young people out there, young adults out there that have skills. This is, you know, the work we do, it's community led. It's for the community. You know, I'm a firm believer that we have to do things for ourselves. So this opportunity to showcase our school and to work with likewise organisations, likewise people who have started their own things, I think it's just so fantastic. It's taken a long time, and I have to keep applauding the people that are behind this and the people that are supporting this. You know, it's about us. We have to do this work ourselves. And so I can go on and on about the people that have been in there, what they've been doing. We are currently also this summer break working with Ubuntu, Cadford Salsa Group, Minto Cleaning. These are young organisations, young companies, again in the community that have come down, and we've been able to, you know, work with them. So we're not just an educational hub, community.
30 seconds.
Oh God, I'll talk quick, fast. Okay.
Give out your contact details again, Irving, and put your contact details in the chat for me, please.
Okay, yeah, so you can go to info@emlem.org.uk, or you can go to www.emlem.org.uk. And I'm sure that a lot of you have heard of us. You know where we are, right opposite Kaleidoscope, near the car wash. Drop in and speak to the team. We're happy to speak to you in any areas of the community or education. Thank you very much, Maurice. 5 minutes went very quick.
The work that you're doing is wicked, man. And you talk to parents now, and they are pulling their hair out. But now they are respecting people like you because they know how tough it is to teach.
Absolutely.
And you're teaching the toughest of the toughest at the same time. So your work is respected. But let's move on. Let's move on to this lady. She's the predominant queen of the BME network. She talks about unconscious bias. We love her as a speaker.
Stop that, please.
Yours for 5 minutes, mate. Let's do it.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for this impromptu
mate.
Okay. So my couple is Mabadiliko. Mabadiliko means change in Swahili. Mabadiliko is a C.I.C. started a couple of years ago with the support of the Stephen Lawrence Trust and people like, I'm straying already. I'm really going off. I just want to say, I've been listening to everybody today and I've been focusing on mental health for most part, but now I've been actually looking at education. And my beef, if you like, with the education system and what's going on is that for me, there's something missing, and that's what's going on with regards to the teachers. And I truly believe that unconscious racial bias is playing a significant part in the numbers of exclusion of Black kids that we're seeing. I'm also thinking that it's great, these opportunities for mentoring, amazing, but I have concern when that child then, or that young person then is left in that environment, an environment where they're working for a large organization, but they're the only young Black person, let's say young Black male in that space. And I worry about how that environment, because they're going into an environment where they're a minority, they're going into an environment where buy-in hasn't necessarily been bought or sought from other members of staff. And certainly we know that racial and unconscious bias are things that we all have. Black, white, brown, we all have them. And if we're not taking care of those, and then we're putting our young people in environments where those organizations, where the leaders, where the heads of the schools, where the teachers haven't done that work, I worry as to what damage might be done when they go into these environments and you guys do all these and make, work with them, build up their self-esteem, give them the confidence. They're now in that place, and it takes one comment from somebody who means well but doesn't understand microaggression, doesn't understand about unconscious bias, and doesn't understand how traumatic some of this banter can be that we find in the workplace, that we find in the playground. And nobody's doing anything about that. There's an experiment on TV where teachers were asked to observe a classroom, and they were asked to look out for bad behavior. That's all they were tasked to do. And they linked their vision, their sight, to some electronic something or other, but basically it showed that white teachers focused on Black boys. Nobody in the classroom misbehaved, but their brief was come in, observe this class. And when they tracked the eye movement of the teachers, far more time was on the Black kids. And this is this thing about unconscious bias. If we don't tend to them, if our teachers, our heads, the school governors don't tend to them, then what we're trying to do on the outside with them could be undermined again, or continues to be undermined unless they do this work, unless our children are able to understand what a microaggression is, because often we feel it in our bodies, but we say nothing about it. Often we don't have the language to know that that's what I've just experienced. That's what just happened to me. And worst of all, we don't know how to respond. So nobody learns from the process, and the hurt and the trauma just continues. So my work is around trying to work with undoing unconscious bias, anti-racist work, particularly with school teachers. So if anybody's got any contacts with school heads or schools that have a large proportion of Black children, I'd love to be able to initiate a conversation with the school head about coming in and doing some work around privilege, unconscious bias, under the umbrella of cultural humility, which is what my company fundamentally does. But within that is talk about impower balances, and is understanding how we are all, how we all have biases, and we all have prejudices, and we all stereotype. But we need to be aware of those, and we need to do something about it. It's not good enough for us heads and schools to be saying, oh no, we don't discriminate and we're not a racist and I'm not a racist. The ask, I guess, is
30 seconds.
The ask of everybody here is to start asking, what are you doing to be an anti-racist? Don't accept, we don't discriminate. The question is, what are you doing? Thank you very much.
Can you give your contact details, Hilna, please, or put them in the chat as well, please?
I'll put it in the chat.
You put it in the chat. Thank you, Hilna. Appreciated. I'm going to move on quickly. Guys, I'm trying to fit you in. Motti, you said you weren't coming tonight. What happened, man? You're here in my face. Oh, my God. I'm going to try squeeze you in, Motti. But next, Kareem, are you there? Lewisham Holmes.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Yo.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm going to be really quick. I'm here to talk about a program called the Creative Coding Collective. This is a new opportunity for young people 16 to 21 in Lewisham. We are offering crash course training in computer coding, paid job placements, and we also want to build in some mentoring to that. It's a 3-year program. We got some funding from the Mayor of London through the Young Londoners Fund. We're working in partnership with the Albany and My Own Coding UK, who are doing the training, and we are ready to launch. So the launch event is on the 24th of September. The first cohort of training will begin in October. I'm going to put a link in the chat now. So that's just a very quick overview of the program. It's going so what we're looking for, we are looking for, I'm just putting that link in. We're looking for young people to apply. It's specifically for young people at risk of exclusion, but at risk of exclusion in a broad term in terms of from school and society. This is about getting underrepresented groups into the technology industry. Obviously, post-COVID, the jobs market is shifting a lot, and this program came about through consulting with young people. A lot of consultation I did, going to places like Youth First, youth centres, and talking to young people. And a theme which came out is that young people want to learn life skills and want to learn how to make money. Coding was something that we were offering adults at the time. And the way the coding industry works, that you don't necessarily need a degree to get a good job. It's a test-based assessment, and you can get, it's kind of well-paid entry-level work. So we're working with My Own Coding to provide this training to young people. So Ethel, I know you spoke earlier, anybody else, Merv, if you've got young people, the age is 16 to 21, who you want to put forward to this program, now is the time. The link I just posted in the chat has a link to an application form where people can register their interest, and it has details about the launch event in there. Also mentors, we want to work mentoring into this. We've already got companies involved who are offering job placements. The job placements are going to be paid at the London living wage. That's £10.75 an hour. So mentors, I know Ilham spoke earlier, migrant leaders and urban synergy are here. I'd love to speak to you outside of this about providing our trainees with mentors. And my third ask is companies. If any of you know companies who are willing to provide job placements, we already got loads on board, and I'm always open for more, because this is a 3-year program. We want to train 75 young people over that time, and we want a third of them at least, 25 or more, with paid job placements. Yeah, so that I just tried to do it really quickly. The link's in the chat. I'll put my email address in, and now if anyone wants to reach out to me, just send me an email and we can talk.
Excellent. Kareem, can I say that you need to link up with me?
Yeah, man.
I've got the employers, I've got the experience. I've tried to work with Lewisham Homes for years. So we'll touch base again as we planned. And I love what you're doing. And yeah, put your contact details in the link. Don't forget the 30th of September, Kareem, yeah?
Yeah.
I'll send you the details for that one. So Daniel Abutu, Daniel, please tell me that you're here. He's not here. He's not here. Kwame McPherson. Kwame McPherson. This is good news for other people. Okay, Susan Ryder. Susan Ryder. Hello? Susan Ryder. Oh my days. This is good for some, bad for others. Let's bring in Groundworks. Let's try Groundworks then.
Hi, we're here.
Hey! Your 5 minutes started.
Also from the team here as well. So there's 3 of us on this call today. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you guys.
No problem.
Okay, so I'll talk through some of the projects that we've got that will cover the Lewisham Borough. Mainly, we offer support to our young people aged between 16 to 24. One of our unique selling points for Groundwork London is that we work very much in the green agenda. So we have lots of opportunity for horticultural training and those entry-level jobs where young people can come to us, be trained within horticulture, so really get outside, learn that skill, roll their sleeves up, get on with the sort of physical tasks. We're very aware that some young people are not massively academic and, want to get on and do the physical side of things and show their skill set that way. So therefore our training allows our young person to get out there and really show us what they're made of. Our tutors are delivering our training online as well as physically, so we can offer a combination of training to our young people. And at the moment, we're actually running 4 lots of different training projects. So across the boroughs of London, including Lewisham, we have horticulture training, we have customer service, business administration and employability. We're also doing maths and English functional skills. And at the moment, we know that young people are going to be in a situation where GCSE results are heading in their direction tomorrow morning, and some of those young people may not receive the results they would have liked to achieve. So our team, Martine being one of them, are on hand, ready and waiting to go to work with those young people with their functional skills. Martine, do you want to give us a little bit of a story around the functional skills and what we can offer from an employment advisor point of view?
Hi guys, so with the functional skills, what happens is that the young person gets to work with myself, the advisor, and then they'll also be supported with a tutor who will help them with their training. Normally it's like twice a week, 10 to 3. It could be 4 times a week if they wanted to do both maths and English. At the end of it, normally lasts about 6 to 8 weeks. And then at the end, they will then go into site to do an exam. Our last cohort are currently doing their exams, and it's on this Friday. So we are looking for some other ones, because the next group will be starting within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, so we're fully expecting that we will get numbers of young people referred. Just in the last week, with the projects now back in a situation where we can move forward, and rather than sitting in limbo with the COVID situation, we have had a number of referrals. We actually had over young people join our project just over the space of the last 5 days. So I think our young people are now in a mindset where we need to move forward. We're heading towards September for that next academic year, and how we're going to get there and what's their journey going to look like. Our coaches work with our young people in a way where we work with them on an individual basis. So it's about their goals, their aspirations, what they want to achieve, and the direction that they want to go in. So we would never say to young people, this is the only training course we've got. We'll always work with people to help them achieve their desired goal. And actually, at the end of that experience, we'll support them for a further 6 months while they're in that transition period. So it could be work, it could be training, it could be education, it could be apprenticeship. A really nice story, just to tell you, is just before COVID, we had a group of young people doing horticulture training, and their training course got sort of cut short in a way because COVID situation happened and we all went into lockdown. And those 3 young people had never worked before. They'd only ever done volunteering and also had learning difficulties. So it was a really disappointing situation for those guys, and actually they felt like their opportunity had come to an end. With the support of our coaches throughout COVID period and the lockdown situation, each one of those young people have now moved into work, and one is now an apprenticeship in the Queen Elizabeth Park over there with ID Verdi. So the employers that we work with across the Lewisham Borough are really keen.
10 seconds.
To work with young people that need that extra support and guidance. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll put our details in the chat.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much. Motti, give me a couple of people. I'll get you in now. Just to double check, Danielle from, am I pronouncing it Ubuntu? Am I pronouncing that right? Nobody even knows what I'm saying, do they? Daniel from Ubuntu.
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu. Is he in the room? He's probably not. And again, Kwame McPherson, let me know if you're in the room. And Sue Ryder, let me know as well. Desiree, hello. This young lady has been hounding me for 2 weeks. And she writes some beautiful books. I love what she's doing. She's a teacher as well. And I want to really promote the books that she's writing and also work with her in the future to see how much support we can give children in schools. Young lady, the floor is yours.
Okay, I wasn't hounding you though. I don't know why you said that, but okay. Thanks. Hi everyone. So yeah, my name is Desiree Akobia. I'm a secondary school English teacher and I'm an author. So I write different types of books, but the ones relevant here are these ones, which are written for young people. The main characters in both of these stories are young people in secondary school. So when I started working in schools, it was about four years ago. So I'm going into my 5th year of teaching in September. And just by observing things that young people go through, how they kind of act in school, and then kind of thinking back to being in school, that's what inspired me to create this character. Also because I'm an English teacher as well. So I was teaching them how to create characters for story writing. And that's how I created this character. Her name's Bodell, and she's 15 years old. And when she turns 15, she finds out that her parents are not who they say they are. So they tell her that she's adopted. And so it kind of takes you through her life, how it affects her at school, how it affects her at home, and it kind of takes you through the mind of a child. So when Irvin, you were speaking about working with a lot of children in care, it made me think of this book. So the safeguarding officer in my school has got this, so she's looking into it as well. And I've sent it out to a few other kind of safeguarding teams in the borough where I work. And then the second book is called Kitsu's Diary. And this is more of a classic retelling of a good girl meets bad boy love story, but it's written from the perspective of this girl called Kitsu. And she's 21 years old now, and she's reflecting on her life when she was in secondary school. So as you read through the book, it goes into extracts from her diary. So she's telling the story now as an older person, but then it goes into the extracts from the diary that she wrote when she was 15 years old. So it's kind of like taking you back into the mind of a child. So it kind of shows them that, look, this is how you might see things now, but when you're older, this is how you're going to see it. And so in the story, it shows how this boy that she falls in love with kind of affects her at school and her education and things like that. And one of the things that both of these have, they have hope, they have the inspirational messages in both of the stories. It's got a Christian message in the book as well. So it's different because it brings God into it. So it's a way for the children to read this and kind of build their own relationship with God or find out more about themselves and their beliefs. So yeah, that's what my books are about. Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so tell us the titles again very slowly, please, and put your details in the chat for me.
Okay, so the first one's called I Am Bodell. They're both available on, you can find them on Amazon. So I Am Bodell. I'll write the titles up again. Yeah, this one's on there. I Am Bodell. Yeah, and then the second one is called Kitsu's Diary. Kitsu's Diary. So I'll type the titles in the chat. My first book is about my own life, actually. I'll just show it to you anyway. It's called Diaries of a Visionary. So that's why I called the organization Diaries of a Visionary, because that's how it all started with my first book. But yeah, okay, so those are the three. That one. And that one.
Brilliant.
So yeah, I finished.
Go on, finish off, Desiree, go on.
Yeah, that was it. So when I go into schools, like I talk about the books that I wrote, but I've also started these creative writing workshops. So it's kind of a way for kids to showing them how to write. So creating a character, and it's a way for them to write about maybe something that's going on in their life. But if they create a fictional character, it becomes quite therapeutic because it's a way for them to write about that as well. So that's a new thing that I'm working on as well, creative writing workshops for young people and showing them how to create characters and to write. So yeah.
Brilliant. Desiree, thank you very much. Can I just reiterate, Desiree has not been hounding me. I should not have used that word. She's phoned me twice and emailed me, so sorry about that, Desiree. You just to make that very clear in case I get the police knocking on your door. So sorry, no problem. Yeah, sorry about that.
All right then.
Okay, can I have Evadne Bygrave, please?
Hi, can you hear me?
Hello, Evadne. Evadne's in Jamaica, everybody. In the
right,
sun.
So I am in the sun. I put on my screen so that you don't all get jealous because I'm out in the garden and it's really hot. But anyway, I digress. But before I start, can I just want to acknowledge a couple of people that I've heard since this conference started, and Urban Synergy. The work that you're doing with young people, and especially with the parents, is really commendable, because a lot of the time we leave the parents out, focus on the children, and obviously if the parents aren't in the right place, it doesn't help the young people. So well done for your work with the parents and the young people. And also just a signposting to Helena, who was talking about racism within the schools. The Runnymede Trust actually have done a study this year on racism in secondary schools. And they've also they were commissioned to do a study by the NEU based on the effects of invisible and non-invisible barriers in schools, which is really worth reading. And also I will try and get some information in the chat room for the London Black Educators, which would be a really good network for you to touch base with, to get you into schools as well. So that's just to acknowledge some of the really good work that's going on in Lewisham. The reason I go back to teaching is that I am a teacher. I've been teaching for 19 years, assistant head teacher. I'm now a retired teacher from schools, but I still continue to teach looked after children. Sing a Book is a company that I set up based on my experience of children's lack of interest in reading within my first year of teaching 19 years ago. So I started to use song and drama as a way of engaging children in books, and then the company formed from that. So now I deliver workshops through the National Education Union at conferences, divisions. I go around the UK delivering workshops on how to deliver a creative reading curriculum. Again, addressing some of the needs that Urban Synergy said about low-level disruption, which tends to be caused by lack of interest in the curriculum, so they don't engage. And as we know, they've squeezed out the creativity in schools, leaving it very, very pure academic. So some children aren't able to access the curriculum or choose not to because it's so bland. And I'm coming from a teacher's point of view, so I know what the curriculum's like. I wrote a lot of it, so I know that it's not really addressing our children's needs. However, there is an organisation called the Black Curriculum Organisation, who has created a curriculum around Black history, which is going to be basically drafted out across the nation to all schools. So I think that will help in some ways. But quickly, just going back to Sing a Book, over the last 3 years, we started to produce musicals which are culturally relevant to BAME students, young people aged 7 to 18. It's based on real historical characters, and it's based in music. It's a musical. So again, it's engaging children, not just through drama, but also through music. We've had 2 successful productions in Croydon and Lewisham last year. Unfortunately, due to the COVID-19 this year, we've not been able to put on a production, but we are looking at ways on how we can still roll out a production next year, either online or using some other medium. So just watch this space. We are always looking for young people in Lewisham. You first, I'd love to get in contact with you to speak to some of your children. Also the music project that you're doing, that's really right down what we're doing as well. All the songs are written, they're new songs, they're hip hop, R&B, reggae. So it's a real cross genre that children can really engage with and get involved with.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Okay, so in a nutshell, Sing a Book, what do? We improve behaviour, engagement in learning. We develop reading skills creatively. We raise self-confidence, self-awareness, self-reliance. We raise culture. We are culturally aware, so we raise culturally aware subjects and relevance, and we develop crucial communication skills between young people and the older community.
Brilliant. Evadne, thank you very much. Can you put your details in the chat, please?
Will do, absolutely.
Sorry?
Will do.
Okay, thank you. Susan, have you come back or have you left me? Motty? Motty, hello, Motty.
Yeah. Hi.
You weren't coming, that's why you're the last speaker.
Oh wow! Oh, well, I said I was going to come, but I was supposed to have left early. But thank you anyway. I'm just going to be really brief. My name is Motty Omidei. I run an organisation called Joined Up Thinking, and I've spoken to quite a few of you. And just want to say thank you all for those who have spoken. What struck me tonight is that the amount of mentoring that's going on in Lewisham, and I'm sure it's cross borough as well. And it just occurred that there's so many the stats that everybody has given on how many young people they have mentored, and then considering the amount of young people that there is still to reach, and with all these organisations, there's still a plethora of young people that are waiting, people like us to do some mentoring. So it's amazing work. We are a youth mentoring organisation, a small organisation, and we mentor young people from 11 years old up until 24. One thing that we are doing this from September is a creative media traineeship, and that's one thing I want to plug. And the reason why is that a lot of young people come from school, they drop out, and one of the things that they like doing, because they're not quite academic, but they like creative media, they use their social media quite often, marketing, and we want to really hone in on those kind of skills that they've got and use that to build their self-confidence. So we have linked with creative agencies to come in and actually provide some actual briefs so that they can work on, and also give them skills and job prospects afterwards. So that's one thing that we really want to do. That's for 16 to 18-year-olds, and it will be starting in September. Yeah, as I said, quite brief. So please do, if you've got any young people or know creative agencies or businesses, let us know, and we can use them in our traineeship.
Tell us a little bit about the work that you're doing at the Stephen Lawrence Trust and the BME Network, Motty. What sort of work who are you partnering with there?
Right.
What type of work? You've won funding recently.
Okay, I'm trying to end so that everybody can go home, but Maurice is keeping me. Okay, so we have partnered with, as I said, Lewisham Network. We have sort of diversified from what we normally do, and we helped to deliver a telephone befriending service and a food delivery service for COVID. Because there was a greater need for elderly and vulnerable people. And notwithstanding, we also continue with our mentoring virtually, and also telephone befriending to young people as well. So that was a collaborative effort. And off the back of that, we're continuing with that because the need is still great. And we linked with Lewisham Local to deliver this. And we've recently got funding to continue this project. So a part of us, some of our volunteers have been dedicated to that while we continue our one-to-one mentoring and group mentoring with young people.
Brilliant. Thank you, Motty. And as the final word, thank you all for your patience. It was probably a bit too long, but I think there's been so much achieved. I've got so many opportunities we're going to discuss. It's good to hear what people are doing in the community, the fantastic work coming from all areas. And I've got to reiterate one thing. On the 30th of September, if we can work together, I'd love you to get involved with a program called It Takes a Village. And you can do your own programs, your own webinars on your own product. As long as it's supportive, creative, and it helps youth, let's come together, and I think we'll do quite well. My final point, I'm going to be sending out feedback forms tomorrow. Please give us your thoughts on the feedback. This will help us with our data when we're looking for funding, when we're trying to get bigger events to take place. I want your criticisms as well. And thank you all. Have a good evening. I think I've done well to finish on 9:30-ish. I'm going to pat myself on the back because nobody else is going to do it. So I can't hardly reach, but I'm going to pat myself, and thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you, Maurice.
No problem. Thank you all. See you all later.
Well done, Maurice. Well done. Bravo.
Hey, Maurice. Bravo.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I'm going to say bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Philip. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Maurice.
Bye-bye.
Well done. Well done, Maurice.
Bye-bye.
Excellent.
Bye-bye.
Stop it. Thank you, guys. Hilna, let's talk next week. Let's have a chat next week, Hilna.
Why you put people on the spot anyway? Hmm?
Because I know you can handle it. I know you're a brilliant speaker. The work that you do, that's the key for me. The work that you do and your achievements in the BME network, it needs to be told. That story needs to be told, you know? And sometimes people don't appreciate it. But you're a good speaker as well. So there you go.
All right, Captain. Well, I do appreciate the moment, and but yeah, thank you very much.
So you've enjoyed it tonight, then, yeah?
Yeah, I stayed.
You wouldn't normally, no?
It is long. It is long.
It's too long.
But I'm moving from the kitchen, so I'm literally walking with the laptop from room to room wherever I'm going. And
well, hopefully, the goal next year, when the COVID is gone, all the events that I do will be live. So I'm planning to have, this is probably one of the biggest collective events of BAME organisations ever assembled. So the goal for me is to have this live in a hall, in a community centre, and we've got people coming to sign up for training programs and discussing all the issues. So that's the long-term goal. I wish I could do this live. That's what I love doing.